Hey guys, and welcome to Death Before Dishonour Season 2, Episode 4. So this is of course our standard best of 4 tournament, and we're about to get it cracking. So we already have our first competitor in the lobby, that is Poison Ducky. Let's say what's up to him. And we'll be getting Zeus in next. So our 4 competitors today are going to be Zeus, Poison Ducky, hey guys, and welcome to Death Before Dishonour Season 2, Episode 4. Back lag on the computer, there we go, sorted that sound out nicely there. So this is a best of 3 4-man tournament, nice, short and simple. We have the Warhammer Cup rules in play. So obviously it kind of stops people kite drawing and that type of stuff. We have the attacking rule and there's a few little army limits. We're going to be starting off on Troll Country before moving to El Anguil and maybe Battle of Itza as well if we get to that point. So yes, I am very, very excited. See Noob for Life is in the chat. What's up, my dude? Good to see you, man. The previous champion, I believe. And Pacta, I'm sure a future champion needs to be playing, hopefully, in the next tournament. What's up, Scourge of the West? Hope you're doing good, man. Hope you're mentally prepared. Cool, we're just waiting on Zeus now. Cool, he just sent me a message saying he is on his way. I'm excited. So, who is your money on? We have the mighty Poison Ducky up against Zeus. It was a bit of a battle of the YouTubers here. Poison Ducky, of course, having a channel after his own name. And Zeus has Gunda Plays, which he's just started up. So, definitely check both of those guys out. And it should be fun. I've seen both these guys play, and they are very, very good competitors. Actually did a few games up against Zeus yesterday, I want to say, and got my arse royally kicked. He has a disgusting new Tomb Kings build that I'm sure he will be picking at some point if Poison Ducky lets him. So if you are finding my channel for the first time, welcome, welcome. We do all types of multiplayer, campaigns, tournaments, all that good stuff. Actually, while I think about it and while we're waiting, I am going to load up a scoreboard. Yep. Let's get that up there and interact with it. So we have P Ducky up against the mighty Zeus. Unfortunately, this scoreboard just needs to count down, so it's going to count down to hopefully something epic will happen at that moment, and it is Death Before Dishonour. Which I have contemplated making a clan, which I spoke about actually in my other live stream, which is the longest live stream I've ever done. It was like 3 hours and 40 minutes. Yo, Zeus is in. Oh, yep. So who are you cheering on today? I know a lot of people in chat have played against these guys before. My money's on Scourge. No disrespect to the rest of the awesome players, though. I haven't seen Scourge play too much. He sent me in a replay where he managed to take down the mighty Falcon, so he's certainly a very good player. It's a really fun build, actually, as well. The Greek gods are against me, it seems. Just going to check Discord, make sure there's no questions. Nope, looks like we're all good. So I hope some of you guys tuned into the last live stream as well. We did a big King of the Hill a couple of days ago where I nearly died after streaming for about 3 hours and 40 minutes. And we are going to try and break that soon with an 8-man tournament stream. The games are currently being played offline. So actually I believe one of our competitors today is still is going to be in that. I believe Scourge is also in the 8-man tourney. Sweet, I'll let them know. You guys can do gents. Boom. Let those guys sort out who they're going to play. So what are you guys looking to see today? For round 1, I'm thinking Ducky's got it. Man, Ducky's a good player, dude. He's a good player. Honestly, I don't know if I've actually played Poison Ducky that much myself. I think we've just like been involved on each other's channels quite a little bit. Cool. Looks like they're going to probably end up picking and banning. I can always toss a coin to see who has to go first. Cool, so we're going to do a live on-stream coin toss. Hang on a sec, just go grab a coin. Here we go. So on heads it is Poison Ducky, and on tails it is Lord Zeus. We have heads, so Poison Ducky picks first. Cool, I'll just put that down there. So I'm so excited to get this going. Really been enjoying the live streams recently. Have quite good reception from them as well, so they're going all good. Yo, Magnus, what's up, my dude? Hope you're doing all good. Hope you're getting ready. It should be good. So we do, in fact, have... Oh, you're following Ducky's channel as well? Yes, boy. Thank you, Pacta. That means a lot. I often do shout out kind of some of the relatively newer YouTubers. Obviously, everyone knows all the big guys already. It's always nice to spread the love. And they put out some really decent content. You'll be surprised at kind of what the smaller channels can do. Just going to check everything. Yep, looks like we're all running all good. Total War did have a slight problem earlier with the multiplayer seems to like cut out randomly, and like everyone gets booted offline, and then after a couple of minutes it comes back. So I'm not sure if that's a problem with the latest hotfix they've done, or not hotfix, but like full-on patch kind of they've done to try and sort out multiplayer. Cool, I think Poison Ducky is... Let's make sure. Cool. They might be doing it in Discord, but if not, we'll just see how they're getting on. Make sure there's no questions. Now we're good. So it's going to be interesting. Lord Zeus is an incredibly good player. If you look on ladder, he's like in the top 30, I think. I think he's around about 26. Yeah, just thinking. Cool, cool. Looks like he's thinking of going for the Vampire Coast there. Very, very interesting faction. A lot of people expect you to bring the defensive approach with lots of guns and kind of just cheap zombies. But I do quite like a crab rush as well. Really sometimes takes the opponent off build. So many duckies around. There is. The king has arrived. Luca, what's up, dude? Luca is also known as Troyore, who was the king of our last King of the Hill stream, which was the 3 hours and 40 minutes one, the kind of marathon. I believe him and Noob for Life both went 5 games undefeated. You'll be all good, or Magnus. Magnus is a Ninja Penguin, for those who don't know, who's going to be playing in the next round. And he is up against Scourge of the West, which is a real tight affair. It's going to be good to see. There's a lot of duckies around. There's Waking Duck, Rubber Duck, Poison Duck, CA Duck, and one more duck I believe I've met somewhere down the line. Cool, picking Vampires and banning Skaven and Chaos. We'll see what Lord Zeus does in return. Now, who do I like against Vampires? I do quite like High Elves. Lots of cheap archers, basically, just to tear through masses of zombies and so forth. Is it a best of 3? By the way, yes. Cool. I believe this is Lord Zeus's first time on the channel, but I do have a couple of replays he sent in, so he will be going up very shortly as well, so you'll see him a little bit more. We also have some replays from Consul of Rome up against Poison Ducky, I believe. Got some replays from Scourge of the West. I have replays from so many people, plus some of my own games. I've kind of started delving a little bit into Chaos now, you know, get myself a little bit infected. I got quite a nice Chaos build against Tomb Kings. I actually played someone who recognised me, which is a bit strange. They said, oh, I know your YouTube channel and stuff, as we were playing online, which is kind of cool. And we had a really close Chaos Tomb Kings game, so I'm probably going to cast that as well. Defending the honour of Scandinavia, yes. I really want to travel around Scandinavia, me and my housemate do. He banned, let's see, Skaven and Chaos. Interesting to ban Chaos. I don't think Chaos are particularly... I mean, you can get cheap Marauders, I suppose, and stuff, and lots of flying monsters to try and get in there and deal some damage. But it looks like Lord Zeus is in fact going with the Empire. I think this is a fairly evenly matched battle. You get lots of cheap cav from the Empire as well, which is really good at making that kind of constant pressure. Plus you can fire back and try and trade in that artillery battle. But of course, Vampires, they have so much utility. They can really go over a lot. Like Dark Elves against them too. Yeah, man. Dark Elves are one of those factions which I know are really powerful and I often struggle against, but I can't play as them super well. Cool, cool. What is the timer on in the top right? Oh, it's gone to 0. Sad times. I was hoping it was going to come down on something special. Don't bring Sertron? I have no idea what that is, bro. But yeah, where's good in Sweden to travel to, bro? And Denmark as well. Because me and my housemate at some point hopefully going to travel across large parts of Scandinavia. Cool, looks like Zeus looks pretty much ready, but he's just going to double check some of the cap rules. We are playing with the Warhammer Cup rules off the Warhammer Tournament Discord. I haven't yet switched over to, I think Aerocratic has made some more rules, which a lot of tournaments seem to be going to. I'm currently still on the old ones, just because I know them better, so it's easier to kind of host these type of things. But I will look through both of them and see where we're going to go. So in the next battle between Scourge and Ninja, we're going to be playing on Mirror Woods, Pillar of Bone and Tower of Hoeth. And in the finals, we have one of my favourite maps, River and Maxon, Alpine Ridge and the Central Chaos Waste, if it does come down to that final slogfest of the two champions vying for my approval of the rubber duck. And of course, whoever wins these tournaments as well, once we have 4 champions, we do invite them all back for a kind of a Champions Royal Rumble to prove who is the ultimate champion of that season. However, we did take a large break between the first 2 episodes, which I believe were won by Chosen One and Flying Taco. So I will have to invite those guys back, and if they don't want to compete again, because obviously it's been 2 or 3 months in between since Noob for Life won the last one, we'll just get another 2 champions in as well. So should be good fun. Dark Elves to me because I'm a Rush guy. That's pretty cool, man. Copenhagen and Stockholm, sweet. So we have multiple Scandinavians here. Nice, nice. Is Total War quite big over there? Trondheim. I probably butchered that saying, but cool, man. I'll look it up. I'm pretty excited. I don't know when it's going to be. It's probably going to be in about a year or so before we get to travel. That's sick. I'm going to fly to Norway. Nice, nice. So if you guys are enjoying, I mean, we haven't actually got started yet, but if you want to give a big old thumbs up, it does help the channel and draws more people in. Invite your grands friends, their dogs, and they get to witness the beauty of people getting slaughtered undead zombies up against Empire. And again, if anyone's joined and you kind of missed my little announcement, welcome to my channel, Rubber Duck of War. We do multiplayer battles, we do campaign streams, we do tournament streams, King of the Hill, all sorts of good stuff. So do feel free to hit that subscribe button and stick around. So looks like these guys are just assigned their armies, but we don't have a timer on it. It is a no rush. We're doing for a pretty chill tournament. It's we keep it competitive, but at the same time, it's fairly friendly. Of course, players who get on well with each other and are nice to each other and respectful always get invited back and all that type of good stuff. And if you do want to get involved in any tournaments, hit me up on Discord and I'll be able to invite you into my own Discord. My name on Discord is simply Rubber Duck of War, and I'm on top of all of the major Total War Discords like Noobhammer, Tournament 1, Turin's 1, Lore Master Sotex, all the big ones. And we can get you guys involved. Also, if you want to send in replays, feel free to do that as well, and I'll try and cast them on the channel. I do currently have a backlog at the moment of a huge amount of streams, so it'd be interesting. Norway is crazy expensive. No, I've heard quite a lot of Scandinavia is quite expensive, at least compared to over here in Britain. Well, it depends probably on the stuff. It depends. Ugh. Make sure I don't have any messages from either of the guys asking any questions. Nope, looks like they're still just deciding their armies, which is fine. What do I normally do in this matchup? I don't actually have the Vampire Coast DLC. It's the only DLC I don't have, and I really like pirates, so it's a bit of a surprise, but I'm not sure I'm going to be the biggest fan of their playstyle. I will get around to getting it eventually. As far as Empire, another faction I don't play too much. I'm more of a dino guy myself. I like the dinosaurs, the high elves, wood elves. I've been getting into chaos recently. All sorts of nasty good stuff. Looks like Poison Ducky is ready, and Zeus is ready. Sweet, let's get it cracking. Let's pray the Total War servers do hold, as they've been a little bit sketchy recently. Pizza for plus €10. Ooh. Cool, and we are getting started. So it is going to be on Troll Country, which is a very small map, which I often use to kickstart my tournaments, as it gets, you know, the blood flowing straight away, full-on blood and thunder affair on this map, as both opponents normally just end up charging directly into each other, very close quarters. But there's also some small hills, so you can take the high ground. There is a lot of trees as well for some sneakiness. So this map has quite a lot of variety, even though it is fairly short. And I mean, even if you're a ranged faction, you still can get maximum range to try and get as much value as possible. So, it's going to be pretty interesting to see where these guys deploy and have a little look at their armies. I've seen a lot more of Poison Ducky than I have of Zeus, so I have a little bit more of a better understanding of his playstyle. I have played Zeus a couple of times now, I think 2 or 3, and unfortunately for me, I have been put to the sword, I believe, in every single instance. We had a couple of close games, a really nice Lizardman versus Chaos build where I was trying out a Darth Plays build, which he put up on his channel, which is like a mass skinks with Razordon build. It was really cool actually, and really catches a lot of Chaos players off guard, but unfortunately I got my Slan sniped out by some flying goon squad of kind of flying sorcerer sorry, on a dragon, and some exalted heroes on manticores. So let's get it cracking and have a little look at Croissant. Oh, not Croissant, sorry. Croissant is in chat. Poison Ducky's build. So, Poison Ducky for the front line has gone for zombie, pirate, gunnery mobs. I'm sure these guys will be moved back in a second as he sets up his army, but he's got a nice selection of those for that cheap fire. We also have an absolute ton of zombie, pirate, deckhand mobs, just for that cheap, cheerful chaff. We have a few units of the deckhand mobs with polearms for cheap anti-large, but it looks like we also have some sirens in here. These ethereal ladies will be causing quite a big problem if there's not that much magic damage to take against them. We also have 1 unit of Depth Guard. They're more elite troops. They are in fact all vampires, so as they kill, they do regenerate health. For his lord, we do have a Vampire Fleet Admiral with a little pistol up on here on his Mighty Crab. And he has brought all hands ahoy. We also have, let's see, Invocation of Nahek and all that good stuff. So, nice, fairly cheap and cheerful build, going for kind of a mass swarm here. We have 2 units of Fellbats as well, and 3 units of Rotten Prometheans. What is this madness? One of them's been the Lamprey's Revenge, one of the toughest and stickiest opponents in the game. They're an absolute nightmare to deal with. They, of course, have regeneration and all that nice tasty stuff. They also have little shotguns on top of these crabs, which can do some actually fairly decent skirmish damage. Let's go have a look at Zeus's army. So in the back we do have 3 great cannons. These are going to be super useful in this matchup of trying to take down those crabs. And what does he have to protect them? A nice, cheap, cheerful front line of spearmen, a couple with shields. That's fine. You don't need much, to be honest, to deal with the zombie front line and at least hold them back if you have other elements of your army trying to pack that punch. We have some Empire Knights, looks like 1 on each flank, and a second one in reserve on the left-hand side. It looks like there's only 1 on this right one. Up in the skies, we do have Boris Todbringer, the cheap and cheerful version of Karl Franz. Nice to see. Let's see what he has brought. He does have the Mindenheim Runefang, giving him that replenishment to hit points. Crush the Weak, the White Cloak of Ulrich as well. Hold the Line, all that good stuff. So he's just nice, cheap and cheerful. Once again, should be pretty good against the vampires. We have 2 units of handgunners, just the regiment, the regular ones, no Regiment of Renowned. And I did believe I saw another couple of characters. So we have a light wizard here. Looks like he's brought the net and Far's protection. And we also have the mighty Gotrek. Clearly a man of top culture and class is Lord Zeus, bringing in the mighty dwarf warrior himself. And it looks like he's also brought some of his buffs. Oh, mouse just joking out a little bit. We have Gotrek's Doom and Heroic Fortitude. So, very interested to see how this goes. Gotrek could be real key here in taking down those Prometheans. There's a lot of armor-piercing, long-range firepowers, but it depends, you know, if Poison Ducky can swarm enough. So, who is your money on now you've seen the armies? Looks like Poison Ducky is ready. Just wait on Zeus to finish setting up, and we'll get cracking. I really like that everyone got Boros for free after the last patch. Yes, I think that's very, very good. I think a lot of the, in fairness, the CA do a lot of kind of free legendary lords and stuff, and I think they're pretty damn reasonable as well with their DLCs actually, and it's given a lot of longevity to the game. But I don't know. I like both armies. I really like the Swarm, and it could shut down those handgunners pretty quickly and get on top of these cannons. However, there's a ton of long-range firepower to snipe out these crabs, and the rest of the army is pretty cheap and chaffy. Depth Guard will be able to cut through those spearmen like absolutely nothing. And there's not too much magic damage to deal with the Sirens. We do have Boris up here, but I don't think he does magic either. No, so those Sirens could be an absolute pickle. It does look like Gotrek does magic damage himself, though. So if he gets in there, but he's a little bit slow and he'll be chasing around. Looks like a nice defensive approach here, just along this ridgeline as the battle does get underway. I'm assuming that Poison Ducky is going to immediately bomb rush forward. Yeah, looks like straight away he is going to be advancing up. So I like this defensive approach here. Got the handgunners in front, spearmen just behind. Looks like we do have a little bit of lag. Unfortunately, I had this in some games just before the tournament kicked off, but it did tend to subside once the battle kind of got underway in the first couple of minutes. Oh no, please subside. I think unfortunately it's total war at the moment because I'm plugged into LAN connection and I've played with these guys before and had zero problems, so it may just be a problem with the multiplayer scene. But it looks like we are starting to get going. Some early cannon fire coming in on the Lamprey's Revenge. It looks like they're immediately though getting an invocation in the heck just to heal them up. Boris swinging forward. Looks like he's going to just scare off some Fellbats. Doesn't want them poking around and being a little bit sneaky. In fact, he might be able to catch them here if Poison Ducky's not careful and react. And Boris, of course, will delete these guys fairly quickly, getting in some nice attacks there. They do swarm around him, but quickly realise that their fate would be sealed and fall back towards their lines. So we've got Prometheans dotted all around the battlefield, trying to give a nice bit of presence with the Vampire Fleet Captain over on this right-hand side. But the Lamprey's Revenge are really taking some fire. And in fact, they have lost one of their little crustacean friends. And a few zombies are dotted around as well. But yeah, so early firepower looking very good. But the balance of power is already actually in the Empire's favour, liking their matchup quite a bit. Boris does swing in to do a sneaky little attack on the Vampire Fleet Admiral, doing some really decent damage before getting back up in the air before he receives any himself. Empire Knights getting near the forefront. I'm assuming we're going to see some cycle charges in the front just to soften up those forces. But once this army does get hit, those spearmen will fall relatively quickly. It depends, does he have enough troops to actually protect that back line? A second invocation of the heck going down on the Royal Prometheans, trying to keep them going. Of course, being a very key part of this army. Boris hops down on the other unit over here, taking down one of the crabs before retreating away. Really nice early damage and skirmish play coming in from the mighty Lord Zeus himself. Empire Knight's going to go crashing into the front lines here, starting to run down some zombie pyrodeck hands for free, but they are going to receive a little bit of firepower back in return, trying to make them pay for every zombie life they take. Lamprey's Revenge, or not even those, sorry, the Rotten Prometheans on this flank are starting to crumble, and he's already using all his magic up on the other Prometheans. Empire Knight's taking a little bit of damage, so a little bit of give and go there. And the other Prometheans are trying to surround Boris Todbringer. The Sirens are getting destroyed here by Boris and those Empire Knights. Some zombie pirate gunning mobs are being summoned to assist in this situation over here, and the front lines are about to engage the Depth Guard. If they can stay in combat as long as possible, they will tear apart these handgunners who aren't being pulled back in time and are going to be caught, I think. Oh no, really close play here. Lord Zeus just bringing in those spearmen in time, but they won't be able to hold for too long. But he should be able to turn around and get these handgunners firing. In the back line, we do have Fellbats swarming over these great cannons. Spearmen trying to rush to protect their crews. And a big net coming down as well on Lamprey's Revenge, and they're just getting obliterated by these handgunners. Over on this far flank, it looks like Boris actually took barely any damage. Did huge work over on this side, doing lots of damage to Sirens, getting down to half health, and these Rotten Prometheans. Empire Knights, on the other hand, a little bit less fortunate, taking down about half health. Boris is on the hunt, sneaking around the map. Look at him just trotting through, hunting down the Vampire Fleet Admiral, and that Fleet Admiral is in really dire straits. Boris swooping in ahead of him to get in some attacks. Really nice micromanagement there. Fellbats in the back have been mainly forced off, but they did manage to shatter one great cannon and force the other one off. So that is two cannons down Where is that third one? The third one is still well and truly alive. Looks like there are some zombie pirate deckhand mobs which could swoop around, and that front line is really starting to buckle now for the Empire. Boris zooming in to try to finish off that Vampire Fleet Admiral, who's been a little bit tricky, and Boris is now actually suffering quite a huge amount of damage, but it looks like he may well be able to get the snipe. More Rotten Prometheans swarming in, trying to deal that death blow to Boris, who's probably getting shot quite a lot by these handgunners, and focus fired. Over on the ground up here, we do have a summon which is going to be disappearing very shortly, getting some really nice damage on some Empire Knights, but they're going to be constantly cycle charging and should be able to deal with these zombie pirate deckhand mobs once the gunnery mobs do go offline. All that constant focus fire coming in on Boris is doing some really nice work here, but in retaliation, Boris smites the foul vampire down onto the ground, but in return, he's getting very danger low health-wise, but he is managing to just about escape. We do have the crabs did manage to break into the back line, but have unfortunately crumbled for Poison Ducky. And with this cannon online here, and he's managed to rally some handgunners, I think this could be quite a lot of trouble here for the vampires to deal with. There's just so much Empire still left on the map. Felbat swooping in, trying to shut down the Great Cannon, but they do, in fact, crumble. And the balance of power now swishes very quickly and very fast in favour of Empire and the Mighty Zeus. So Boris swooping in, just going to be healing himself up. You can see his healing cap right there. And there's not too much left that can contest him. He's going to be able to finish off his Depth Guard, finish off the Ron Prometheans, and that is all the punch the vampires have left, unfortunately. Gotrek up to 44 kills in the front lines, been slaying crabs and just dealing deathly blows to these zombie pirate deckhand mobs. Massive swing there, sending them flying. And unfortunately for the Sirens, they're going to be a bit tanky. But once Gotrek gets over there and army losses set in, which it looks like it's starting to do, they will unfortunately crumble away. Pretty close game though, as you can see. The Empire very tattered. Their hero core is still fairly strong and they have one cannon, but apart from that, most of the rest of their army has been beaten back. Empire Knights over in the distance going to be victoriously swooping in after, hiding for half of the battle over on the side. They're going to be coming in and finishing up at the Black Spot, but the Black Spot of course do have those nasty Hellbirds, I believe, so should be able to fight back fairly effectively. It looks like they're also receiving some assistance by zombie pirate gunnery mobs, but balance power does slip away from Poison Ducky, and that is going to be 1-0 to the Mighty Zeus in this best of 3 matchup. So in a second we'll go over to the end stats and have a little bit of a review. There we go. So overall, really nice build by Lord Zeus, just about had enough to protect the heavy investment of the 3 cannons. Now he did lose 2 of them, but they survived long enough that they wreaked havoc on those poor little crabs, really kind of just stunting any kind of power they could bring to the battlefield. With 0, 11 and 14 kills on some very expensive units, those cannons really did pay for themselves. Some really great early skirmish play with the Knights and a lot of outpour of damage with the handgunners, I think really won him the game. If the full might of Poison Ducky's force managed to hit home, I think he would have broken through a little bit quicker and pushed his way into that back line and taken away Lord Zeus's hitting power. But overall, 1-0, really nice game. Yeah, Poison Ducky saying he should have protected his captain better. He managed to almost kind of drag Boris into the dirt and into the swarms of zombies, where he took a ton of damage because he was trapped in there and getting a handgun at Overwatch fire. But unfortunately, the Admiral was dead by that point. And like I brought cannons, those cannons really paid for themselves. So we're going to be switching up maps now. I'm going to El Anguil. So someone in the chat, I believe, was a Poison Ducky fan. So hopefully your friends can do a little bit of a comeback here. Let's see. You hate stunties? No, stunties are awesome. Just like my previous girlfriend. Well, damn. Yo, what's up, Monochrome? How's it going, my dude? Hope you're all good on this fine day. Monochrome did, in fact, take part in my last stream, which was a King of the Hill. Hopefully we'll get him in the future as well into some of these tournaments. Yeah, the Admiral dying really did cost it. It was fairly close and he still managed to kind of drag it out to that point. But Boris was just too much for him to handle. Cool, cool. So, Zeus' turn to pick. Sweet, and we'll update the score to Zeus to good one. So this is a best of 3. So the next game could be it for poor Poison Ducky. Looks like Lord Zeus is going Tomb Kings, and I'm so excited to show you this build he's got. It is incredibly powerful, at least a section of this build I know about. I don't know about what he's going to bring as a whole. But looks like he's bringing Tomb Kings and banning High Elves and Empire. I think that's pretty wise, actually. I really like taking High Elves in this matchup. Again, lots of cheap archers, pretty good across the board, fairly cheap anti-large tools. Well, you do have to be a bit careful with large entities, can sometimes run over High Elves. If you can't pin them down properly, you don't have nets, Sisters of Avalon, and that type of thing. I quite like 1 or 2 cheap units of cav, like Silver Helms, just to pin in some of the big monsters and allow your archers and halberdiers and stuff to do some decent work. But overall, El Anguil, really fun map. You'll see it when we get in there, but nice open plains of field if you need to. Or if you want to kind of bring your opponents out of the trees, but also some trees for some sneaky plays. Oh, this is interesting. Hell yes. Okay, I have a really nice Chaos build against Tomb Kings at the moment, and I think Archaon has a really good niche pick here. Be really interesting to see how this works up against Lord Zeus's army. So any Chaos Gods fans in the chat, I want them to do a little bit of a comeback, or are you thinking Lord Zeus is going to take this in a 2-0? Yeah, Firecaster is so nasty. Firecaster, just with a burning head, can wreck a front line of Tomb Kings if the Tomb King player isn't paying attention. And even sometimes if they are paying attention, it's really hard to dodge, as of course the Tomb Kings, for the most part, are fairly slow. But it'll be interesting to see what we see here. Maybe some use Shapti from Lord Zeus to deal with some of those big nasty monsters. But at the same time, you've got to protect those guys, and Poison Ducky is very good at that backline harass, as we saw managing to scare off 2 of those great cannons before. Heresy going on in this lava here. So it looks like Lord Zeus is going to be bringing the Holy Hammer of the Tomb Kings, which I don't think has ever been said before, up against the vile heretical forces of the Chaos. To be honest, both forces of I suppose just evil is what I'm going to say. No, Warhammer's a little bit less black and white than that, a little bit more grey on who is the good and bad guys. I think the Elves are a really good example of that. They often claim to be the good guys, but they do a lot of dark, twisted stuff as well. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Just quickly check chat. Looks like you guys are all good in there. Good to see some familiar faces and some new faces. So if you guys are enjoying the stream and want to support the supporters and myself, do feel free to hit that big old thumbs up. Every time you do, a puppy is born into the world, and the world is a more beautiful place. And also feel free to subscribe and support me on Patreon if you fancy it. Sorry for the constant updates, but it's kind of needed. Just try and get your name out there and you know, allow people to spread the word of a rubber duck of war. Just going to quickly check Discord. Looks like we're all good. So, quick question, just while we're in this little bit of downtime. Have people finished watching The Witcher and The Mandalorian? I really want to sink my teeth into some discussions about those shows. 2 shows I'm actually really big fans of that came out recently. I think quite a lot of time has passed, so it shouldn't really be any spoiler talk for anyone tuned in. I'm really looking forward to both of Season 2, which I'm assuming both of them have been greenlit for Season 2. I know Mandalorian definitely has, and that they're actually filming it right now, but surely The Witcher did as well. I think it was a pretty big success. Looks like Lord Zeus is ready, so we're just waiting on Poison Ducky and his heretical followers. Which should be all good. So after this, if it does go to a best of 3 and all the way through to the final match here, we are going to be playing on the Battle of Itza, which is a Lizardman film-themed map, which is super cool. Not the most competitive, but I think it's balanced enough, and it kind of allows me to get in a little bit of Lizardman flavour, them being my favourite race. And the Mighty Krotgar, arguably my favourite character. I was thinking about this recently. I'm quite a big fan of Alefanar, Gotrek, the White Dwarf, Krotgar. Lord Croak's pretty badass as well, but he's just crazily OP. I'm not sure who my other favourite characters are. Probably Snarsnik, just for the simple fact he's got schemes. He's got schemes to deal with everything, which is always good to see. So just a reminder, this is a 4-man tournament, and after this matchup, we do have the mighty Scourge of the West versus Ninja Ping Vin in another best of 3, which should be quite interesting. Interesting to see how those guys play. I believe it would be one of like the only like 2 or 3 times Scourge of the West has played on the channel before, and Ninja has been a fan for a very long time, and they also had tons of multiplayer battles up against him. We've had best fives and stuff up against him on the channel at my Come At Me Bro series where I take people on, and he's played in a lot of tournaments as well with us, so hopefully he will be able to put on a good show. Just going to double check once more. We have no questions in Discord. Yeah, looks like we're all good. And we'll get this cracking. I really like the Chaos counter pick here into the Tomb Kings. I think you can use cheap Marauders in the front line, maybe a couple of units of Forsaken as well, just to help push through extra quick. You have the Cav with the Throne Axes, just to deal with some of the big constructs. You can bring Archaon, which is an absolute beast Firecaster, so you can do Burning Head, Flaming Sword of Ruin, to really help you as well against those big nasty characters. You bring his sword and all his buffs, and he can go toe-to-toe with pretty much anyone. He's an absolute powerhouse. I think he used to be a little bit of a wet noodle all those kind of moons ago. Oh, looks like Poison Ducky is still thinking. Let him know there is no rush. But Archaon, quite a few patches ago now, actually became a bit of a powerhouse duelist. And he can also deal damage to those big constructs very, very effectively. He kind of works in a similar way to Tyrion does for the High Elves, so it'd be interesting to see what they do. Halberds. Well, from the Chaos. I mean, if you have enough Throne Axes and Archaon to snipe out the big constructs, maybe you don't need the Halberds, but Halberds at the same time, actually that's a really nice pick, Halberds, I must admit, because they're still strong enough to deal with the Tomb King's front line fairly comfortably, plus you then have the bonus versus the large creatures. So yeah, that's quite a nice pick actually, going for some Halberds. I'll have to try that out, see if I can add that into my Chaos build. So Lord Zeus is, I already know in my mind, all 3 of the heroes he is going to bring, and I'm really interested to see your guys' opinions on it, as he was telling me it's like the most crazy OP Finn he has found in like years. So it is not unbeatable, but very, very damn strong. Looks like Poison Ducky is ready. So we're going to be going into this second game now. Yeah, no worries, Magnus, dude. We know that you're fairly new to the competitive scene, man. I like having some new players and more experienced players kind of mixed in. And the best way to learn, man, is just to play. There's really no kind of stress. It's actually just fun. There's nothing on the line. Apart from, obviously, a congratulations from me, which I know a lot of you hold very, very dear. But let's load in. So, as you can see, we are on one of my favourite competitive maps, mainly because we have this massive open field in the middle where you can force nice, clean engagements, but at the same time, there's trees in both deployment zones for some sneaky stabbings. And even if you're on this side and you're like, well, I don't really want to push through into this open patch here, I want to force them towards me, but I have trees in my deployment zone, what do? You can even deploy all the way over the back here and force this really open fight down here. And at the same time, if that happens to you, you have so many different trees and sneaky stabbings you can do to kind of counter that. So overall, I think it's a really well-balanced map. So I want unbiased. For the most part, I try to be, but I do want Poison Ducky to manage to snatch a victory here. One, for all the ducks in the world, but also to take this to a third game, which would be really interesting. I think he's got a good chance. We saw in that first game, it definitely wasn't a whitewash. He managed to put up his own fight there, and got a bit unlucky with some of the selections of the cannon, so I think maybe an Archaon heavy build could carry him here, but it looks like he's going for the giant chicken, so let's delve into his army. So he does indeed have a couple of horse masters with throne axes. Let's have a look at these guys, or just basic horsemen, sorry. So 2 units of those to help deal with some monsters. We have a Chaos Troll build. This is really cool. We have 1, 2, 3 units of Chaos Trolls all chevroned up, or just 2 of them. Interesting to see how those fare. We do in fact have some Chaos Warriors with Halberds, 3 units in fact, so Pact would be very happy with that pick. We also have a couple of units of Chaos Warriors. So very, very nice build. And for his Lord, we do have the Chicken Master himself, the Everwatcher, with his Law of Metal. He is bringing Standard Eye, Arcane Conduit, and Final Transmutation, looking for those big blob fights. Look how badass of a model this is. I forget how kind of, well detailed they CA managed to kind of do this game. We also have the Demon Spew, Regiment Forsaken, yes! we're seeing some really cool units today, and in recent streams actually, people are getting really experimental with their builds. These guys, Regiment Renowned, Forsaken, absolute damage dealer powerhouses. They will tear through some troops. So let's have a quick look over here. Looks like he is setting up on Zeus's build. So in the front line, we do have some cheap and cheerful skeleton warriors just to hold the opponents back. Also some basic skeleton warriors here. Looks like he does have a bone giant for that long range damage. Very nice pick here actually against Chaos, as there will be some very high value targets. We also have a huge cavalry contingent here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Nekakar horsemen and skeleton horsemen mixed up. So it looks like 3 skeletons, 2 Nekakar. And this is what I've been waiting to tell you guys about. This hero core here is disgustingly powerful. So on the right hand side we do have the Necrotect, who's going to be doing some nice little buffs. So Elixir of Might down here. He has Restore as well. He has Fan Braces at the Sun, minus 9 melee attack, and giving that plus 22% weakness to fire. That combined with Setra the Imperishable, also up on a chariot, who's going to be bringing the Blessed Blade of Petra, giving him fire damage, and once again nuking the opponent's stats. Those two combined are really nasty, and of course you have a Tomb Prince here as well for added protection. Going to be bringing the Blades of Setep as well, just to nuke armor and physical resistance. Tomb Strike, all that good stuff. Curse of Jaff, I want to say that is, which is pretty nice. And also Guardian for that 15% physical resistance to Lords and Heroes, which of course will affect both these guys here. Now, I can confirm we tested this out with 4 Cold One Spear Riders trying to drag these guys down, obviously designed to take down large. They got absolutely nuked. We had to end up bringing, I think it was 4 units of Dragon Princes, including the Fireborn and Tyrion, to actually bring those down in a fight. So it'll be interesting to see how the Chaos managed to deal with them. Maybe a final transmutation dropped on these guys at a key moment could be really clutch here. So it looks like Lord Zeus is ready, just waiting on the mighty Poison Ducky. I have one quick last little look in chat. Yeah, Chicken Master, not my first pick either. It's going to be interesting. Bird is quite good there. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how he works. I personally would have taken Archeon. I mean, you could just Flame and Skull like 3 units down in one go, and then just go around sniping out kind of the Bone Giant and trying to deal with this disgusting, this very, very nasty Hero and Lord Blob right here. We're just going to be in down and dirty, doing some really nice armor-piercing charges. As we've seen, Lord Zeus is very good at those cycle charges, which he was doing with his Empire Knights last game. And we are underway. Chaos just hiding in the trees for now, going to be pushing up through, and some early shots coming in, just on auto-fire there. Unfortunately, a bit of a swing and a miss. I'm sure these Chaos Warriors are very relieved about that. So it looks like we are going to get some early cycle charges in the front, if possible. By the looks of it, the Chaos Trolls pushing up through that front line, looking to scare off those horsemen and protect this front line. So really nice play by Poison Ducky there. Bone Giant is targeting down some Chaos Trolls, unfortunately for them, and that is going to be really good at trying to pick off models. So Chaos spewing forth, of course, Tomb King's nice defensive position here. They have the range of the Bone Giant, no need to push forward. It looks like they've actually killed one of these poor blessed Chaos Trolls here. Chariots are starting to get ready to swarm, assisted by the Skeleton Horsemen. Looks like we're going to see some early cycle charging in this front line. Skeleton Horsemen meeting some on-rushing Chaos Warriors, flinging them back. Think how heavy you would have to be to fling a fully armoured Chaos Warrior back. But it looks like those little skeleton boys are strong enough to do it. And we're also getting some side attacks here. Very nice play coming in with these chariots, and a ton of early armor-piercing damage to these guys before escaping. So one of the units of Trolls is already broken, but they are going to start to regenerate. Which looks like they might just about rally. That is probably going to push them over the end. But they are going to start regenerating, but the losing models, of course, is very, very key. So once these Chaos Warriors do manage to hit the front line, they will chew through the Skeleton Spearmen without much damage taken in return, doing some huge damage, but it's going to be all the other elements of this army. Is it going to be enough to take down the hordes of Trolls and mighty Chaos Warriors? Now this is going to be a bit risky. The Chaos Trolls are actually pretty good against chariots, but huge damage coming in. Of course, we have that flaming weapon from Setra, and also the Blessed Blade of Petra. It's just melting at those Chaos Trolls there, which is really helping protect this Tomb Prince, who's taking a little bit of a beat in here. But we are going to be getting a massive upgraded final transmutation down on this hero core, which could be really key. It looks like he's trying to snipe out one character over here. Is it the Necrotech? this is a great pick. If it is, yes, he needs to snipe out that Necrotech as quickly as possible, as it stops a lot of the buffs. And that final transmutation destroyed that Tomb Prince as well. There's loads of cycle charging going in the back. We have Nekakar Horseman chasing down at Marauder throwing axes. That front line is getting chewed down by the Chaos. Really nice showing here so far by Poison Ducky. That final transmutation doing huge damage to this hero core, which could be really key. He's getting pinned in by Chaos Warriors as well, with Hellbirds trying to ping him in against the Chaos Warriors, but it looks like we're getting some heavy clicking over here by Zeus, just trying to get those guys into safety. And also some Skeleton Horsemen coming in to try and break those guys with some cycle charging. Big Chicken forcing his way into the front line, helping to clear up these Spearmen, and there's going to be a ton of Chaos Warriors to deal with this hero core. It could be a real challenge here for Lord Zeus and these Tomb Kings. Really nice play in the back though, chasing off these Chaos Trolls. Of course they can regenerate and come back with a load of value, but the Skeleton Horsemen chasing them down, forcing them off the battlefield. The other ones keeping the Marauder Horseman busy, keeping away from his precious Bone Giant. So it looks like the Chariot Core is coming back, both incredibly beat up Necrotech and Tomb Prince here. Where is Setcha? No way did Setcha go down. No, there he is. Setcha is pretty heavy health. Failing to speak here. Pretty damn healthy here. Going to be getting in some nice attacks on Saphiril, the Everwatcher. Getting in with an incantation of Desecration as well, lowering his stats. And trying to come in with that bit of snipe. But the Necrotech and Tomb Prince are really beat up at this point. Another cast here by the Big Chicken could bring those guys down. He's just chasing them down at this point. This is pretty dangerous. You can see how quickly they tank the Everwatcher's health there with these nasty debuffs and buffs popped on them. Bone Giant is in the thick of it against the Demon Spew at the moment. Not where he wants to be. I mean, these guys, they're more anti-infantry, but at the same time, they have those poison attacks lowering the Bone Giant stats, and they should be able to drag them down. Just bring some Chaos Halberds over here, help finish those guys off. Chicken very quickly has to float away there, down to below half health in a matter of seconds to this Deathclaw here. And it's really scary stuff, but they are very beat up themselves. In the background we can see Marauder Horsemen being chased off by Nekakar Horsemen themselves. One unit completely gone, the other one soon to follow, and those Horsemen are going to come back and do some really nice cycle charging. Chaos Trolls over here also being frightened off, so really nice play overall by Zeus in trying to manage this game after some early heavy damage to kind of his heavy hitters. So Giant Chicken going in to the Skeleton Spearmen, trying to tear them down. Chaos Warriors also saturated in there, going to be deleting most of this infantry, where they then will be able to swarm the Bone Giant. We can see these Chaos Warriors and Halberds doing their job, hopping on top of them. But we are going to have constant cycle charging coming from these Skeleton Horsemen, and this very just deadly core of heroes swarming in from the side, starting to break some of these Chaos Warriors who are starting to tire themselves. Bone Giant, not where he wants to be, really wants to be swinging some shots here. We do have the Shopsy Summon popping up in the back here, going to be trying to saturate in and deal some damage against these Chaos Warriors. Big Chicken staying out of trouble for now, just cycle charging as well. Trying to keep it far away. Bone Giant is starting to go down here, and this is a worry. Look how much chaos is left on the field. These are all heavily armoured, tough warriors. It's going to be an absolute nightmare to deal with, but he's still... Balance of power is still massively in favour of the Tomb Kings, even though their Bone Giant is starting to go down. Looks like he does have a restore on him, though, starting to heal him up. We do have the Shopti helping that balance of power move in favour of the Tomb Kings more and more. They are starting to disappear, doing decent work to these Chaos Warriors, and there's so much nice cycle charging and management so far. Setcha the Imperishable doing pretty decent and getting very healthy here. Come back to protect his Bone Giant, picking on these Chaos Warriors. They're going to struggle up against the Hellbirds, but with enough cycle charging, they'll be able to do the damage to break those guys. And with the leadership getting so low for the Chaos, I can see a lot of units routing, and there's so many skirmish units left available for Lord Zeus. He's going to be able to hunt those guys down. So it looks like Setcha just chasing down some Chaos Warriors here, and the main power left for the Chaos is just the Giant Chicken, trying to defend these Chaos Warriors, his loyal followers. Maybe if he has one more big final transmutation that everyone bunches up on top of him, he may be able to maybe pull this one out of thin air, but unfortunately a lot of his troops are just being chased off. I don't think there's many ways back for Poison Ducky, which is very sad to see another duck go down. The Everwatcher does fly in, trying to snipe out the Tomb Prince here. She may be able to do him just 1 or 2 hits, which hopefully might, for him, restore the balance of power slightly, down to 240 health, and down he goes! The Everwatcher not going quietly into the night. Setra, though, he is on monster hunting duty, chasing Neverwatcher around, getting those nice rare attacks. I don't think he is too long for this world, as the rest of his troops do start to flee, realising that Everwatcher maybe isn't the all-powerful being they once thought he was. And that is going to be game, with the balance of power swinging it into army losses for Zeus. So a very dominant 2-0. Good display by him there. But Poison Ducky himself, look how much damage he managed to cause to this Tomb King build. The Hero Corps getting very, very beat up. In fact, is it just Setra left alive? I believe it is, so just Setra left standing for that very, very powerful amount of units. But yes, very well played to both of these foes, but that is going to be a nice 2-0. So let's load in and have a little look at the armies. Yeah, man, those poor trolls. Man, those trolls just got a hammer in from long range. They needed to move forwards and really protect against those chariots. I definitely agree. But as soon as they touched Setra and they had the extra fire damage put on them, he pops his flaming sword. They have regeneration. They got nuked so goddamn hard. So I quite like this build by Poison Ducky. I think Archaon is a slightly more optimal pick, but again, the Big Chicken, 84 kills, did some huge damage to those heroes, really helped him bring those guys down. I like the idea of the trolls, but they just got countered so hard in this matchup. And Lord Zeus, I've gushed about it this entire time, but this little 3 units right here is such an incredibly deadly composition of troops, and I think that's going to be really tough to beat. And overall, the rest of it quite cheap and cheerful. Really good cycle charging for all his cav, hunting down units when he broke them with the chariots, and the Bone Giant, of course, forcing the opponent in. So, Ninja and Scourge of the West, if you are in chat, please do join the lobby. I believe it's just called A Death Before Dishonour with the password 123. If you can't find it, I will invite you. So I'll just let Zeus know they can pop in the stream and he'll figure out when the final is. So we're going to be switching to the map Mirror Words. Right here, which is a super fun map. Let's see what they're saying in chat. Yeah, turning my expectations at every turn. So Setra basically permanently hit them at 750 plus weapon damage. It's so disgusting. It's so disgusting. Looks like Poison Ducky is expecting Tomb Scorpions, which those trolls would have been really effective against. Yeah, a little bit unfortunate with both his picks actually in his matchups. Got kind of his expectations flopped on their head, which is actually a really good way of subverting expectations is actually really key, I think, now, especially in the competitive scene, with tricking what people think you're going to bring something completely different, and counter their counter, basically. There's a lot of mind games. So I've sent an invite to Ninja and Scourge of the West. If you can't find it, let me know. I'll add you on to Steam, and we'll get this cracking. Poison Ducky, what's up, my dude? Gunda plays. Very well played to both of you guys. Gunda plays, for those who don't know, is Mighty Zeus, and he does in fact have a YouTube channel, which he's just starting up. So we're going to have some videos very soon, so you can pop on there and see them. And very well played, Poison Ducky. You're a little bit unlucky in the selections of both armies. You kind of got countered a little bit with some expectation subversion there by Zeus, which is very well played. Scourge West, I'm a bit nervous. I have 0 tournament practice for like 3 months. No worries, man. This is a good time to get some practice in. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please do leave a massive thumbs up. It will make me very happy, and I will weep tears of joy. Looks like Scourge of the West is in. Yo, yo! And let's get these names changed. So that was a 2-0 to Zeus. But we will change that to Ninja. And Scourge. Cool, cool. I can see that Ninja has just popped up on Total War, so I'm sure he'll be popping in any second now. Let's see how he's feeling. Yeah, guys, feel free to ask questions to the previous competitors. They're both in chat saying what's up. And now in the downtime is a good time. If you have any questions to ask me, feel free. I'm sure they will be happy to talk through their builds and so forth. And that's very disgusting, that Tomb King's build, which I like very much, which you may have gathered. I'll just send Ninja another invite just so he definitely has one. Not so much. I'm sure you do great, man. We can get some support in chat for the mighty Scourge of the West. He's not feeling too confident, but I'm sure he'll be good. I have sent invite. Cool. Looks like Ninja has found the invite, and he's going to be joining. Very cool. So Mirror Woods, very balanced map in my opinion. There's some hills, there's some trees. It's a good map for lots of sneakiness. Ninja! Cool, we'll find out how they want to sort this out, and we'll get it cracking. Yes, Poison Ducky, actually, New for Life makes a good question. What made you choose the big KFC Lord? It actually worked out fairly well with that big final transmutation on that hero blob, but I was expecting an Archaon. I really was. So New for Life, I hope you're studying your future opponents. Whoever wins this, of course, will go up into the kind of Champions Royal Rumble to see who is the ultimate champion of Season 2. New for Life very successfully managed to win last time. Awesome. Cool, just going to flip a coin. So on heads, it is going to be Scourge of the West. On tails, it will be Ninja Penguin, and that is heads. Cool, looks like Ninja didn't want to pick first either, which is a good fin. Which is pretty damn cool. So, who have I seen these guys play quite a lot? I like Ninja, I think his favourite faction, I believe, is High Elves. He's also been practicing a lot of Lizardmen recently, so I'm expecting some Dino Boys. I'm praying for some. Scourge of the West, I've seen him with High Elves, and I think that's it so far. No. Sweet, just let him know the map's in advance. So let's see what you guys are saying about the KFC Lord. You can't bring Kolek versus this squad. No, Kolek would get crushed, unfortunately. Archaon stands no chance here either. I feel like Archaon is one of the better options, surely. Oh, Dragon. Yeah, Dragon in the air would actually be really nice. And you can get like a Fire Sorcerer, so you can actually burn people. But surely Archaon, with all his... Oh, no, he's just going to get destroyed by the Hero Core. If you can keep him safe, he's fairly quick. Use his magic early on, and then once you get rid of the Necrotect, then send him in against Cetra and pop all his buffs and maybe tear Cetra down. Cool, looks like Scourge of the West is just going to think a little bit, which is fine. There is no time limit. And it gives us more time to chat as well in the chat on the side. So what are you guys hoping to see? Do you have any favourite factions you want? Oh, looks like Scourge dropped. No. Cool, let's re-invite Scourge back in. Looks like his Total War did crash, but we're getting back on in a second. Send him a message. Let's see if he's still online on Discord. Yeah, he's sending a message now. Sorry, game crash, no worries. I will re-invite him. Good. As long as it's just a short game crash, that is fine. Like, his internet's not gone down or anything. Can I bring, like, 2 monsters or 2? Yes, you can bring 2. Oh, cheat sheet. There we go. Cool. Ninja is fairly new to the competitive scene. I think only playing in my tournaments before, so I help explain the rules and all that type of good stuff. We like having some new players in here as well, so sometimes we have to explain the rules and all that good stuff, but it's all good and in good fun. Yeah, true. That final transmutation was really key in kind of keeping you in that one and destroying that hero core, which is nice. So yeah. I know Zeus is a big fan of the Mighty Chicken Lord, I believe. Cool. Let's see, is Scourge back on yet? Not quite. Looks like he's loading up the game. Oh, actually, no, I didn't have him as a friend on here, I don't think. I can't see the lobby. What's your Steam number? Cool. I'll simply add him on Steam and send him an invite. I don't think I'm friends with him on Steam, unless he goes by a different name. No, I don't think so. Or at least not that I can see on here. Cool. Cool. But while we wait for him, does anyone have any questions? Let's see, we have a little bit of a chat going on. I will bring some lizard action. Hell yes. Always a big fan of anyone who brings lizardmen. You instantly get bonus points in the tournament if you do so. And let's see. Cool. Received Scourge of the West number. That's how I pick up all my chicks' numbers. Awesome for their their Steam accounts. Cool. Friends. Yep. Oh, I'm already friends with him. Is he in offline mode? Cool. He may be in offline mode, in which case we can't invite him, unfortunately, so we'll get him to change that round and drop that nice invite. Hey, yeah, I can see him. It just says he's come online now. Must be in offline mode, and there we go. Cool, so we'll get him back, and we'll get this best of 3 cracking. Who is your money on? The mighty Scourge of the West. This battle could be taking place in the East, so in which case he might not have so much power here, or the mighty Ninja Ping-Vin. So I'm sure we'll be trying to do a lot of sneaky assassin-style tactics. And the winner of this will go on to face the mighty Lord Zeus in the best of 3 final. Let's see what's the chat saying. What's up, my dude? What's up, Warden? Nice to see you pop in, dude. Don't worry, this will get uploaded in full after the stream anyway. It takes a few hours normally for YouTube to process and sort it out, but the whole video will go up and you can come back and watch it. But it's always good to see you in chat. Hope you're doing good today. Yes, Poison Ducky, Zeus is a really good player to play against, man, to up your skill. He's very good on ladder and stuff. Super nice dude as well, so like he's happy just to kind of play games and whatnot. And it's a really good way to learn. Who do you think we get in new DLC? Oh, that's a good question actually for you, chat. So Ninja's asking, who do you think we will get in the new... Oh, free DLC. Free Legendary Lord. I'm hoping... I'm personally praying for a new Wood Elf Lord. What do you guys think? I'm hoping for new Wood Elf Lord, new Norscan Lord, Those are the main ones. I think the next DLC is most likely going to be High Elves versus Greenskins with Grom the Paunch and all that good kind of classic stuff. Grom the Paunch is going to be so awesome on his Mighty Wolf Chariot. I believe he has an extra large one because he's so fat. He ate a troll or ate some troll meat, so he's got regeneration luckily, but it won't ever like break down inside his stomach. It just keeps regenerating, so he stays forever fat. I'm assuming his fighting style is just walk forward, get hit, because he doesn't really care. Maybe we can rehost. Okay. Did you get invite? Cool, if you didn't get the invite, I will rehost it. And I'll send him another one just in case. Sometimes when someone leaves, it bugs out a bit. We will see. Would be nice. What do you want? Who is the sisters? Oh, so the sisters, they're these awesome characters. Twin sisters, one's like light, one's dark. They ride a dragon. They're from Avalon. They... Cool, that's just... Yes, but it gives arithmetic. Cool, I'm just going to rehost lobby. Cool. So we drop out of that and just rehost. Host as spectator, which is luckily back up. It was broken all over Christmas, which is why we didn't unfortunately have all the tournaments. So Scourge of the West and Ninja. Let's get these guys in. And we were on the map Mirror Woods. Boom. After this, these guys will be playing on Pillar of Bone, and if it goes to a third game, Tower of Hueth. Send them both invites. Hopefully that will now work and go through. Hey, we got a Ninja back in. Hey, what's up, Luca? How's it going, dude? I'm sure you're eager to get your teeth sunk back in. Hey, Monochrome as well. Eh? Yeah, I got a lot of people searching. I'm doing fine. Good to hear, Warden. Good to hear. I'll be doing a Snicketch campaign stream probably Tuesday next week for you. Norscan Eagle. Is he the guy who became the Ever-Chosen before Archaon? I know there was one. Cool. Come on, Scourge. Hopefully you got in before. Also, I'm ready to declare my pick and ban. Cool, cool. Looks like he's just reloading his game now. I want Phoenix Anointed. I have no idea what Phoenix Anointed is. Is that going to be the current Phoenix King? I'm not sure. My lore is a little bit rusty. I haven't kind of kept up on the lore for quite a few years now. And how would you guys feel about them kind of dipping their toes into Age of Sigma stuff? I'm mixed about it. I kind of want them to keep it fancy, but then again, that was kind of my childhood, and I don't know too much about the Age of Sigma stuff. Lots of replacements, yes. Well, Scourge of the West makes it in. Unfortunately for you guys, you're going to have to be coming in next tournament, which don't worry, will be next week. Looks like we've already got a couple of people vying for places. Cool. Scourge of the West picks Lizardmen. Yes. So he's picking Lizardmen and banning Dark Elves. Now, that is a matchup I've got more used to over the kind of months. It's one I really used to struggle with Lizardmen, but if you can win that skirmish game, you can really destroy the Dark Elves quite comfortably. So going for a lot of Chameleon Skinks really helps out quite a lot. I've seen people also using the big Stegodon recently with the huge crossbow on its back to take down those chariots, and it's actually pretty damn accurate, which is nice to see. Make sure there was no more questions on the Discord. Looks like we're all good. Pop back into the game. Looks like Ninja is going for the High Elves, so we have a High Elf versus Lizardman match-off, which is a pretty good fun one, actually. I enjoy this one quite a lot. There were a lot of Ever-Chosen. Yes, but wasn't he the last one, I feel? Oh, you play a lot of 40k. Which army do you play? I actually have a Eldar army. Looking around my room, not sure where it is. I went to a doubles tournament with a friend, so we built an army together. I also go to a solos as well, which is it's interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about the 40k tournament scene. It's got a lot of promise, but it's also got a lot of things broken with it, I think. But yeah, I've got a really cool little Eldar build. I used to play Space Wolves back in the day. Had a really cool drop pod build based off a character called Beric Thunderfist, who was in a set of novels about Ragnar Blackmane. He had a big omnibus, which is just awesome, by the way. I highly recommend it. I think it's 6 books long. And Ragnar Blackmane's story. I mean, he's called Ragnar for one, so you know he's going to be a badass. And his original Wolflord was called Beric Thunderfist, who's just this absolute straight gangster, kind of super, a lot of bravado, I suppose is the best way of putting it. At one point, he literally stands as a tank starts to like try and run him over, bomb rushing him. He pistols it a few times to blind the driver through up the little hatch, and then just one bangs it with a power fist, like making it flip backwards. So you can kind of see where Ragnar gets his kind of ferocious style of play. Yeah, so it's interesting about when you say new flight about banning Dowie here. So I recently played a couple of people. What's his name? Arkan, I believe I played, and he was like, he really likes Lizardmen against Dowie because you can bring like Tehenowin up high and bring the Amber Spear, that's the one, and like rank across that like front line and do huge amounts of damage if you get the angle just right. And you have loads of cheap armor piercing units, but I quite like Dowie as a counterpick to Lizardmen myself. Go nice and tight, use miners in a secondary line to get those blasts and charges over the front line, damage those red crested skinks as they come in, then fall back and use your miners to protect the flanks and the back. Use slayers to take down big monsters, and then a couple of units of Trollhammer torpedoes to deal with big monsters and temple guard and so forth, and then a cannon as well, just to force your opponent in. I think can work really well. You hate Eldar, but they're so... I understand the hatred. It was like a Alatok army, so everything's like -1 to hit. I had some warp spiders, which are then superly hard to hit. Just loads of nasty stuff. I had flies and all sorts of crazy, kind of powerful stuff. Tau are pretty good, man. They're also pretty, like... You can build some really deadly long-range forces with them, like Firebase-wise. You get Riptides, and then loads of drones to protect it, and then loads of broadside battlesuits as well. You take all the damage on the drones, and you just annihilate anything that comes close. When my mate did I actually took his Tau, and he took Orcs, and the Orcs just swarmed and the Tau obliterated. It's a deadly combo. You want to see Krotgar. I also want to see Krotgar. I don't think this is the best matchup for him, but if you can protect him, he can do a lot of damage. Nice. Looks like Scourge of the West is experimenting, so that's all good to see. He is ready to experiment. Not in the not in the wrong way that sounded. Looks like they are both ready, and we will get this cracking. So I'm pretty excited to see how this goes. Ninja, I think probably his best faction is probably High Elf. It's one of the ones he is best with, and Scourge of the West bringing the mighty dinosaurs. Always. I'll try and stay as neutral as possible, but when the dinosaurs are in play, it's always so hard not to kind of vote for them. This will be interesting. Can the mighty Ninja Penguin qualify for the finals, or will Scourge of the West manage to claim that final spot? I'm pretty damn excited. Let's wait for Ninja to click through, and we'll get going. So, any last questions or predictions? Now is the time. Yeah, I mostly play the video games. Need to go for dinner now as I'm here having chicken pizza. Man, enjoy your chicken pizza. That sounds delicious. I am very jealous. I'm actually quite hungry. I always forget to eat before I stream and then get hungry throughout. But I'm going to have pizza myself afterwards. Got one in the fridge. So enjoy that, man. Hopefully see you back after you're finished. Or enjoy the stream. Or the replay, I suppose, afterwards once it gets uploaded. But always good to see ya. Last one was Asavar Kull. What was he? Was he a Chaos Warrior? Or Marauder? Or some type of demon? My lore is so sketchy. Like, I have a load of lore knowledge still, but it's also old. I don't know what's changed, and obviously Age of Sigmar kicked in, and I have no idea what's going on, unfortunately. Just gonna have a quick drink to keep me going. So, Mirror Woods. Both deployments have a nice hill. The one on this side, much more heavily wooded, but there's loads of sneaky woods you can do all around the place, in and out of deployment zones, for loads of nice ambushes. We saw some really good games on here on the King of the Hill stream the other day. We had some nice, I think it was by Luca, I believe, had some Shadow Warriors in the back that came through and just started sniping out some vampires. But yes, can't wait to get this one cracking. And have another quick drink, just so my throat doesn't go too dry. That, I think it's nearly 4 hours stream the other day really did take it at me a little bit. But I'll be working over the next couple of days, over the weekend. So unfortunately, there won't be any more content till probably late Monday. I might be able to get a video out tomorrow, but no live stream at least till Tuesday. So I'll have a bit of time to rest my voice, which should be all good. I wish I could stream like every day. That'd be like perfect. Unfortunately, life does get in the way. Nice little rainbow here coming over the battlefield, which I believe is a good omen for both forces, that they're going to come to a nice mutual agreement, and the no bloodshed needs spilling. So let's have a little look at Ninja's army here. So for his ground forces, we do have some white lines of chase mixed in with some more cheap and cheerful spearmen to hold the line. White lines, of course, acting much more of a kind of cheap battering ram, but they will do fairly well against Saurus with their armor piercing. We also have the Keepers of the Flame, regiment-renowned Phoenix Guard, incredibly expensive unit. I think very high in risk because they can be bombed by banishments and so forth, really taken down by magic. But they will be an absolute nightmare for monsters and infantry to deal with. Up in the skies, we do have a mighty Star Dragon, flying high and proud with no rider needed. And where's the rest of his forces? Down here on the low ground, we have 2 units of the Sisters of Avalon. Very, very good picks up against the Lizardman, but you've got to be really careful of Wind Blast, which can annihilate these guys super quick. For heroes, we have a Mage of Light, bringing the net, a Banishment, and bonus Time Warp to make those white lines really chew through that Lizardman force. And we have Alario the Radiant, just for a bit of healing by the looks of it. We have Earthblood, Shield of Thorns, Arcane Forge, not Arcane Forge, what am I talking about? Arcane Conduit, there we go. And Star of Avalon, just to keep that big Star Dragon fighting. Let's have a little look over here at Scourge of the West and his Lizardman build. So on the front line, he's gone very wide here with some red-crested skinks mixed in with skink cohorts. We have Saurus Warriors, Temple Guard, the lot. A very mixed front line there. Nice kind of balance there. I like that. We have 2 units of Cav. I'm assuming that both of them were Cold One Spear Riders. Where did the other one disappear to? We have one here. Is the other one Pohak? Have a little look. I saw something deployed over here briefly. No? Okay, I may be tripping. Oh no, here they are. We have the Pock Hopak cohort, regiment-renowned Cold One Spear Riders. Look at their colour scheme, looking super cool here. And of course, they do have Vanguard, so a nice bit of sneaky deployment there. So 2 units of Cold One Spear Riders, one being the regiment-renowned. We also have a Feral Carnosaur as well, rolling dirty with his little homies here. And for a Lord, we have the thick boy himself, Lord Mazdamundi, up on top of his Stegodon. Big old Zlak, bringing a Banishment, Shield of the Old Ones, Apotheosis, Harmonic Convergence, and a Net of Amtork. It also looks like he has brought his magic Sunburst standard of Hexotl, with that 12% missile resistance and +9 melee defense, which should hopefully work in his favour. Now, those Sisters of Avalon are going to be super key here. They can do some massive damage to these big dino cores. In the distance, we also have the Pohawks Sentinels, which also have Vanguard and are hidden behind enemy lines. They have a really nice rock drop, which could do some huge work for Sisters of Avalon if they can get close enough. So Lizardmen are advancing down the hills. We have the Star Dragon advancing as well. These white lines hiding in the trees. And lots of people don't know this, but these guys actually have... Where is it? I swear these guys have Strider. Which, there we go, Forest Strider up here, which actually gives them an advantage of fighting in the trees. So really nice deployment there. Looks like they have been spotted by the Pock Hopak cohort. Now, if I was Ninja, I would take the Star Dragon and zoom down on top of these red-crested skinks, try and get some nice free early damage there, while Mazdamundi is out of range with his nets. So quite a broken up formation here, kind of 2 forces almost by the High Elves. Not too much to protect the Sister Avalon. I like the white lines a little bit closer, but I understand the want for having them in the woods for their extra fighting power. We have some early shots coming in, just on the Saurus Warriors with shields. I'd be switching to the Temple Guard as soon as possible. And really nice pick here, Star Dragon coming down, going to start doing some huge damage to these skinks over here. Now, to have the Terrans have started to move up, so Ninja has to be very vigilant here. Mazdamundi should just, doesn't really want to find the woods, but I'm saying he could just come up here and crump these guys while he's got a chance. We do have the It's very, very sneaky Cold One Spear Riders up top here, going to be swooping down, trying to get onto these sisters, who are now focus firing down those Temple Guard, doing some huge damage. Looks like the Star Dragon has been a little pinned up here, though, by the Cold One Spear Riders, and the Feral Carnosaur here can be doing some really nice damage as it desperately tries to escape. And we do have Lord Mazdamundi netted in place. So this is a really key moment. These Cav need to get here as soon as possible, or Mazdamundi is going to get absolutely annihilated by these sisters. Huge damage coming down to the Keeper of the Flames with that rock drop, and a Shield of the Old Ones also to try and counter some of that damage with Apotheosis as well. So he may just be about to survive there. Star Dragon really struggling, does have Star of Avalon and Shield of Thorns trying to keep it in the action here, but it is going to be torn down by this mixed core of Lizardmen here. And in come the cohort, getting some nice rear attacks into Sister Avalon, who are decent melee combatants, but they got flung through the air there into the thick wall that is Lord Mazdamundi. Those poor sisters are going to get unfortunately annihilated, and the backline has now been broken. Pohawk Sentinels hopping on top of the other Sister Avalon with some white lines coming to engage. Up in the high ground, Red Crested Skinks will slowly lose to White Lions, but they do a decent amount of damage back in return. And a big banishment coming down on those Keeper of the Flames, really trying to get those guys offline. Nice Smoker as well, pulling out his own troops here. It looks like he's managed to beat down that Star Dragon as well, which did some nice early play, but got stuck low too much. And I feel this is a net coming in, That is the end of that Star Dragon for sure. Big banishment also, looks like that banishment just carried on going for a little while. Pohawk Sentinels chasing down sisters, outrunning the White Lions, who are desperately trying to get to their aid. Sub unit of White Lions is getting a 2 for Tuesday deal here with Saurus Warriors with shields, tearing them down. Fortunately, Keeper of the Flames are just too beat up to deal with someone as mighty as Lord Mazdamundi, who is now popping on top of Alariel. It looks like another banishment coming down though, tearing apart some red-crested skinks here, in fact completely annihilating them. Looks like a desperate kind of matters cause for desperate means. Blah, if I can get my words out in the open. So we're going to have some nice Pock Hopak cohorts play up here. Come in, probably getting a bit of cycle charge, trying to shut down the Sister Avalon and stopping them from coming back. We also have Skinks swarming from the holes in the front line, hopping on top of these guys and making sure they can't get active again. Lord Mazdamundi popping a Apotheosis back on himself just to keep him going. He is receiving a few shots now. Looks like he's trying to snipe out Alariel the Radiant, but sometimes these Footlords can be really tricky to actually hunt down, as they end up getting flung around the battlefield instead. Looks like Cold One Spear Rise just chasing off the Sister Avalon. Balance of power, I think, showing an accurate kind of description of the battlefield so far. Those are the men I really can't see them losing from here. We're going to get nice cycle charging from the Cold One Spear Rise into the rear of these White Lines of chase, charging uphill and hunting down these pesky and pompous elves here. This little skinks getting in there, cutting off their escape. And that is going to be game 1 to Scourge of the West. Very dominant display there. Almost got Lord Mazdamundi kind of in a real tricky situation where he got netted down, but he managed to soak up all that firepower, drop Shield of the Old Ones, drop an Apotheosis, and tank that damage, allowing the rest of the army to get up and swarm. Let them know it was very well played, and we'll switch the map up. So we now are going to Pillar of Bone. Scourge of the West there, trying to put the fear into the mighty Zeus. Wow, I'm an idiot. I just throw my dragon away. Man, I do it all the time. Yeah, that net pinning him down was a bit of a nastiness there. But let's change the scoreboard. So that is Scourge of the West going up 1-0 in this best of 3. And we'll let these guys decide their pick and bans. Dave the White Lizard. Hello, my good friend. How are you? Yes, man. It's good to have you here, dude. Nice to see you as always. We're currently in game 2. Game 2 of round 2 of our usual format, which is 4 players. So we had the mighty Zeus managed to go through against Poison Ducky in a 2-0 series. Poison Ducky put up a very good fight, but not quite having enough punch in him to get through the mighty god himself. And in the second matchup, we have Ninja Pingvin going up against Scourge of the West, and it is a 1-0 so far. Tekla is good with sisters. Yeah, he's really good with them, man. Those nets, it's disgusting. But look, unfortunately for Ninja Penguin, he just couldn't protect that back line enough. Once all those units managed to swarm and swoop in, it was a little bit doomed. And some really nice rock drops doing like crazy damage to those Regiment-renowned Phoenix Guard as well, really helping him win that blob fight. So he's going to pick Lizardmen and ban Dark Elves by the looks of it. So more Dino Boys, which I always like to see. And we'll see what Scourge of the West goes. I really like choosing Dowie as a counter in this matchup, but as I said previously, Lizardmen still do have a lot of cheap armor-piercing tools. Got to go higher, so we're having a reverse! So we have a little rematch here. This will be interesting to see what tactics they use and how they differ from one another. Which is going to be real cool. Unfortunately, all the games are filled in this one, my dude. This one is a like just a best of 4 set tournament. So the King of Hill that we did the other day, normally people in chat can just join, but at the point of a stream, normally the lobbies are filled. But I believe I have you in my Discord, I think, and that's where I announce most of my tournaments. I give an hour, then I announce them as well to the other Discords if we don't have enough people yet to try and get some new blood into the stream and into the community. But I am going to be doing another tournament probably next week, so send me a message if you're interested in playing, and I'll try and get you in. I think we already have a few players setting up, which is cool. Cool. But yes, who is your money on? Scourge of the West putting down a really dominant display there. I know Ninja's favourite factions are High Elves and Lizardmen though, so I could see a little comeback. He does obviously know quite a lot about these factions. Is anyone playing in the ECL tomorrow by any chance? I may actually, because I'm not working till night time, basically I'm working at 8 in the afternoon. I may compete, and if I happen to end up getting far enough, I'll probably have to drop out just for time-wise and head to work. But I might end up competing, so any of you guys contemplating? I know Noob for Life has played in them before, and I believe Zeus was thinking about playing, so I might end up facing you in that, which would be quite cool. I'm part of your Discord, but unfortunately I just returned from my job. Oh, no worries, dude. So normally I'll announce the tournament a little bit in advance, and then you can kind of RSVP your place in the tournament. Plebs having jobs. Yes, why have a job when you can play Total War? That's what I say. Unfortunately, they do tend to get in the way, don't they, of the important stuff, which is watching pixels hack other pixels to death. But yes, I'm hoping to see a comeback. So the first match was 2-0, so hopefully Ninja manages to buck that trend and we get a nice 3-game series going. Looks like Scourge of the West is ready, so we're just waiting on Ninja. Looks like he is getting ready to go, so we'll just start up. But yes, if you have just joined the stream late, we are doing a 4-man tournament. This is the second semi-final, currently gone 1-0. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Hope you guys stick around. I do multiplayer battles, I do live streams of tournaments, King of the Hills, 4-man tournaments, 8-man tournaments, hosting a campaign at the moment with Deathmaster Snickich, and I host replays as well. I'm happy to cast replays that people send in, cast my own replays, all that good fun stuff. So if that is the type of thing you're into, please do subscribe and stick around for the future. It'd be really cool to see you. If you guys are enjoying the stream, smash that thumbs up button so hard that I can feel it in my loins. That's what I want to feel. And Pillar of Bone is the map. A fairly open map. There is a little bit of trees for some secret hiding and quite a lot of hills around the place as well, but it all tends to be on the periphery of the map. This main part of the battlefield, a nice flat surface for some good old scrappage. Hopefully we get to see some greenskins today as well. I don't know if we actually saw them. Oh, we saw them once in a in like the 11 or 12 game King of the Hill we did. So I want to see some more greenskins. I'm quite a big fan of them at the moment. Not necessarily their kind of power level, but just the whole idea behind them. Their lore is very cool and how thematic they are. Actually, I quite like now and again taking a oh, what's his name? The little goblin guy. Completely gone blank. I spoke about him earlier. Snarsnake, there we go. I like taking Snarsnake with like an all-goblin build. Can be really good fun. And he's got some good tools as well. Ever since their DLC, the Crooked Moon appeared. There's a lot more kind of variety to the goblins and what you can bring. I actually used to bring a goblin build prior to that DLC as well, prior to me owning it, with a Night Goblin Shaman and loads of gold chevroned Night Goblins. It was pretty wild, I'm not going to lie, but it was good fun. So this map's got some cool orc architecture in the background, as you can see. These are some rare works of Wuzag, the Great Green Prophet. But now we're loaded in, let's have a little look. Oh, Ninja, you may be the hero the people like deserve right here, but we're going to go through his army nice and quick before we get to that beauty in the background. So it looks like he does have a couple of skirmishers. We have 3 units of skink skirmishers, 4 in fact, for a nice little bit of harass. We have some Cold One Spear Riders on the right-hand flank, mixed in with skink cohorts, Legion of Shaquois, giving that really nice buff actually to range damage to nearby friends, 44% missile resistance. You have to pop it though, and it only works for a limited time, but still very nice. Nice and cheap and cheerful skink cohorts. Looks like a second unit of the mighty Cold One Spear Riders. Where is this all going on? Cool, so all going on back here. We have the hero core of... I can't get into him. There you go. We have the mighty Gorok in here, loud and proud with all his buffs. Super tanky and durable lord. Quite like that pick against high elves. Can't snipe him out too easily. We do have a little skink priest in here of heavens. What do you have? Looks like Wind Blast, Midnight Curse, and I want to say Orion's Thunderbolt, but I'll be able to see when the battle gets underway because he's going for a bit of a blob here. And we have a mighty Dread Saurin, man of the people here, Ninja, bringing the absolute glorious beast. That is the Dread Saurin. Unfortunately not the Shredder of last year, but still, this guy actually has some pretty decent output on his fire, having some of these blowguns on the side, and the skinks throwing those poison javelins, of course, is a powerhouse. We'll quickly go over the high elves as the battle has gone underway. We have some Illyrian Reavers in the flank. Oh, this is very dangerous for the big monsters of the Lizardmen. We have 2 Spearmen on the flanks, Phoenix Guard in the middle, who will be a nightmare for that Dread Saurin. Some Dragon Princes, Sister Avalon, Spearmen. We have Lyra the Radiant up on her eagle, going to do some great healing, and a Star Dragon of his own. I feel like the Lizardmen are really going to struggle here. Those Phoenix Guard are good against absolutely everything in this army. Maybe he's going to have to whack them with some Wind Blast or damage them with some big power attacks. But he really wants to use that Wind Blast up on the Sisters of Avalon in the back here. Looks like we do have something sneaky over in the trees, however, it's just the Illyrian Reavers. This Dread Saurin does not want to be fighting in these trees here. Maybe he's waiting to push down the hill and doing his little bit of skirmish. Illyrian Reavers having caught these skink skirmishers is going to force the lizard men forward. Star Dragon coming in, just having a little swoop around to see what is in the forest. Illyrian Reavers do pay a little bit of damage. They can do a little bit more back, but not the worst trade in the end. No disaster. Alario does in fact take a little bit of damage. So, I'm really liking the Dread Saurin. I love seeing a Dread Saurin, but this is a super risky engagement to pick him in. It looks like that Star Dragon has popped on top of the Cold One Spear Riders, and we're getting masked Sisters of Avalon Overwatch fire, which is dangerous for these guys. They need to be pulled back. Early skirmish pressure, trying to do some damage to the Phoenix Guard before this main engagement does get underway, as it's going to be a real struggle if they do reach fully intact. A little bit of lag, but that'll give us some slow motion cinematic shots of the dragon munching on some Cold One Spear Riders, who yes are anti-large, but don't want to deal with a Star Dragon on their own and unaided. So it looks like the Cold One Spear Riders are falling back. Some skink cohorts running to try and protect them. But this is a very bad start, unfortunately, for Ninja. He has managed to get some skink skirmishers all the way through to the back line, though. Trying to shut down the Sister Avalon in a samurai-style kind of charge. Trying to shut these guys down long enough while the big Dread Saurin gets in and does its work. Looks like he's managed to get them engaged, but they are on guard mode, so they're going to continue to fight. And it's holding back a huge portion here of the High Elf army. And that could allow the Lizardmen, if they're quick enough, to come in and do some alpha strikes. The Dread Saurin deleting some Illyrian Reavers here, as you would expect. But the rest of his forces aren't coming with him. He needs to attack in one go here to really stand a chance of managing to punch through this very elite High Elf army. Big breath attack coming in by the Star Dragon, and now it's going to be a big monster draw. Of course, the Dread Saurin would beat a Star Dragon 1-on-1, but with fast protection drop down and all these High Elves lurking in the trees, with this firepower coming in as well, which there's just nothing to get back there and do serious damage to it. Fortunately, it's mixed click, but it looks like on the Wind Blast, looking to actually turn it. I've done that way too many times as well, unfortunately, trying to get that along the Phoenix Guard. I think that could spell doom here for the Lizardmen, which I don't want to say because I love the Lizardmen. We have skink cohorts holding up a big pocket here, but I don't think the Lizardmen are going to be able to grind through this fight quick enough. Now, if it was just the Sisters of Avalon, maybe he would be able to skirmish around the sides and get on top of them. But with the mobile force of all these Illyrian Reavers and the Star Dragon, this is going to be super tough for this Dread Saurian to boss his way through. Gorok is currently being protected by the shield, but I don't think the Dread Saurian is quite close enough. It does have a short range, but it looks like Ninja may have found a way back into this battle. He's managed to destroy Alariel here with the Legion of Shakwa and Gorok. Looks like almost managing to destroy him. He is getting healed quite heavily now, though, with fast protection on him and Star of Avalon. But he is running for the hills, Alariel, or she's, sorry. Is she still healing? No, 791 health. She may rally. So, almost got himself in a bit of a pickle from a very dominant position there. Did not want to lose Alariel there and risk losing this leadership court with a relatively healthy Dread Saurian. It's still got over 3,000 health. Skinks once again managing to get onto Sister Avalon and shut them down. Illyrian Reavers coming in to sandwich them. Alariel is getting a very healthy Earthblood. Nice little escape there, and I think that escape will seal the fate of these Lizardmen, unfortunately. Dread Saurian trying to flee from those Phoenix Guard, but he's being chased by Dragon Princes and an ever-vigilant dragon. I don't think there's any escape from here, escape for him, unfortunately. Alariel does pop in the back to try and help these Illyrian Reavers, which are really struggling to protect the Sisters at Avalon. Some nice back pressure coming in from Ninja there, persistently trying to shut those guys down. But his Death Blob just wasn't ready to deal with this many Phoenix Guards. And the big dragon is going to take the Dread Saurian's life, I think. Breathing in his face there, some horrible noxious gas. Dread Saurian down to a meager 852 hit points, which is still quite a lot, but compared to how much it starts with, you can see he's going to be running for the hills. He's very tired, he's broken. He's now being chased down by some vengeful Illyrian Reavers. So it looks like we have a big Earthblood coming down, just sustaining these Phoenix Guide and Dragon Princes, allowing them to tear through Gorok, who's a very meaty opponent himself. Big breath attack coming in, just targeting the Legion of Shakwa there. In the back, Dragon Princes roaming around, so they're going to be rolling over some skinks, protecting their lady, who did get very low health-wise. And is the Dread Saurian rallying? No, unfortunately, it is being chased off. Very good play here by Scourge of the West, pushing that Dread Saurian off, refusing to allow it to come back, because it still has a decent amount of firepower in it, even at such low health. Balance of power swinging heavily in the High Elves' favour, and I think this is a victory for the mighty, mighty High Elves and Scourge of the West. Skink Priest has Shield of Eons, helping him fight in there a little bit with Gorok, who's tanking some damage and dealt some huge damage himself, really managing to focus down Alariel earlier on and do some big damage to this Star Dragon. Should probably just start cycle charging at this point and allow the Spearmen to grind out the mighty Lizardman Warrior. We do have Skink Skirmishers just being a pain in the arse, shooting where they can, but they might get cleaned up here by some Cold One Spear Riders. The good old Star of Avalon coming in here, just keeping all these Phoenix Guard and Spearmen fighting, lowering the morale of Gorok as he sees the elf skin knitted back together. Star Dragon could do with some healing, but at this point I don't think it's too necessary. Use him to chase off these Skink Skirmishers, finish them off, then grind out the fight up against Gorok here. Oh, I thought the Sister Avalon was shooting at their own dragon there, but they're actually just trying to scare off a couple of Cold One Riders. Skink Priest has come back into play. If he has some Wind Blast, that'd be really nice here, just to avenge some of the Lizardmen dead and do some huge damage to this section here. But it looks like Gorok is starting to waver. Stand Your Ground is popped, but even with that, army loss is set in, and that is going to be a 2-0. So very, very well played from Scourge of the West. Sending a message to Zeus here. He's sending a message. He will not go quietly into the night in this finals. So overall, I think a really cool attempt here with the Dread Saurian. I saw what he was trying to do, protecting him with the Legion of Shakwa, giving him that bonus. But he didn't quite have enough to deal with the fast-moving army of Scourge of the West. Managed to out-skirmish him, and from that point, pick and choose his engagements. Get that nice focus fire down on the Dread Saurian. Now, nearly got Alariel sniped with a risky charge in, but it wasn't enough, unfortunately, for the Lizardmen, and a nice win for the High Elves. Cool, so Zeus, if you are in chat, get ready, my friend, as you are up next. Try and find the lobby. If you can't find it, I'll drop you an invite. Looks like Dread Saurian. Go, Drake! Where are you? I love the Saurian pick for what the Saurian was, and large dinosaurs can actually be a really big problem for High Elves, but I'd prefer going with maybe the Thunderous one plus Krokgar, possibly. To go a bit of an overload pressure, and then you need a ton of backline harass to deal with all those archers and Sisters of Avalon. Cool, so Scourge West will just stay in the lobby, and we will change to the map. My favourite map. Where are ya? River and Max on it. So good. A balanced lizard man map. Looks at the message, leaves unread. Oh, what was that? Back, what did you miss? You missed Scourge of the West managing to take the second semi-final in a 2-0 up against Ninja. We saw some Dread's Saurian action. Salamanders, I quite like Salamanders in this matchup, but they do struggle against Dragon Princes, of course, with that resistance. And some Temp Guard would have been nice. Cool. So I'll give them guys just a couple of seconds to chat before we get the mighty Zeus in here. Oh, looks like he's left. And we will drop the mighty Lord Zeus a message. I am pretty damn excited. Looks like we've got a lot of people in chat. We've got 17 watching in one go. Nice. Hope you guys are doing good. Well, you have tuned in just in time for the final of this fourth episode of Season 2 of Death Before Dishonour. It's kind of crazy how many we've managed to get through now. So, Scourge versus the mighty Zeus. Who is your money on? Place your bets. Place your bets. Both these guys going through in 2-0 series. Should be interesting to see how this goes. Oh, I'm assuming they want to go pick and ban, in which case we'll sort out who goes first with a flip of a coin. As I think it is advantageous to actually pick second. Hello, Kratos. Trying to be the killer there, the killer of gods. Scourge to West, see if he can pull it out. So, heads, it is going to be Lord Zeus picking first. Tails, it will be Scourge of the West. And we have a tail, so Scourge picks first. Cool, make sure there's no messages or anything. Nope, looks like we're all good. So Scourge West will be picking first. Hope you guys have been enjoying the tournament so far. Been seeing some pretty damn cool games, seen some interesting units we don't often see. Yeah. It is River Maxon. Then Alpine Ridge and Chaos Wastes. Cool. Hopefully we get a free game at final. Both these guys obviously shown they are very competent commanders. I'm excited to see how this goes. I wonder if Lord Zeus is going to try the same trick with the Tomb Kings. He's a really big fan of it at the moment. Was bigging it up quite a lot, but is he going to use it if he knows the opponent has a little inkling on what's going on? It doesn't have to be this way, my son. This betrayal is of your own choosing. So it looks like Scourge is going to pick Tomb Kings and ban Dwarfs. Very interesting. We'll see how his army kind of style differs from Lord Zeus's. Have you guys heard about Techless returning to Age of Sigmar? No, I have not, bro. I'm really poor on Age of Sigmar knowledge. I don't really know any of it, unfortunately. It sounds like they've gone for a fairly Nordic theme as far as there's these multiple realms with like a bridge between them, and the main character has a big hammer who's like going to try and save the day. But I don't know too much about it. I do know Lizardmen have returned, which is good. I believe they're called Sephrons or something in the new lore. I've heard it's improved, the game. I've heard like the game's now really popular, it's really well done, streamlined enough, not too bogged down as kind of the older editions of Fantasy got. I've been tempted to try, I'm not going to lie. After hosting this many Total War games and seeing all the cool units, I'm tempted, but I kind of just want to go back to Fantasy. Like, I love these characters and these armies. I don't want to switch it up. So, Lord Zeus just figuring out who he's going to pick, and it looks like he is going for the Mighty Empire, who we've seen him use very effectively in Heat 1 against Poison Ducky. And I have... Oh, no. Bretonia, perhaps. Interesting. We haven't seen them in a while. Italian Spartacus uploaded a video. Nice. Has he recently returned then? Has it been like a... I suppose they're not the High Elves anymore, are they? Haven't they been switched to some, like, underwater people? I think that's my favourite character, even though I don't really like High Elves. Who is your favourite faction, Warden? I'm interested to see. Yes, Warhammer Tabletop is coming back, isn't it? Oh, I'm tempted. Honestly, I think it's going to be a good 2 years away or so before they actually bring it out. I know they've done the announcement, but I think it's going to take them a while. Sweet. So we're going to have some brave and bold Knights of Bretonia and some filthy peasants going up against the Bone Boys themselves. Interesting to see what he takes here. You know what I want to see? That's not going to happen in a million years because it would get instantly destroyed by someone like Cetra. I want to see the Green Knight. I demand it. I demand the Knight to show his face. Yes, so I don't know how Tabletop's going to be implemented. I'm assuming it's going to be just all the old armies brought back with Age of Sigmar rules, I suppose, being implemented. I feel like fantasy rules towards the end did get a little bit, like a little bit crazy. Oh, sorry, I'm just getting a Steam message. Which is all good. Wow. So, who do you think's going to take this? Honestly, it's hard to say. Hey, okay, it's got a Steam message. Kafka is watching now. Oh yeah. What up, dude? Glad to see you checking out the tournament. Hope you're doing well. Looks like Scourge of the West is ready. Who is going to come out fine? In a best of 3, the first game is so key. It puts you in such a comfortable position. If you lose it, you're so nervous. No rush. So, Lord Zeus is just figuring out his build, but that's fine. Gives us more time to just chat and chill. And let him make the perfect army. Which is all good. Ugh. So who is your guys' favourite lord lore-wise? I'm going to go Krokgar or Alaphanar, I think, for me. Or maybe the White Dwarf. It's a tough one. It is a tough one, though. There's so many good characters in Warhammer. A lot of terrible characters as well, I think, but... Sweet. Yeah, Scourge of the West is in no rush either. How are we doing for time? It's nearly 8:45, so we've been going for nearly 2 hours now, so we'll probably be going for about 2.5 hours overall, which is perfect format. The King of the Hill the other day, 3 hours and 4 minutes, did murder me, but that's not going to be the longest stream, as we do have an 8-man tournament currently being played offline, and I'm going to stream all 4 quarterfinals, both semi-finals, and the final all in one go. It's going to be an absolute marathon, and it's probably going to take about 4 to 5 hours, I think. But if it's successful, I will do more 8-man tournaments, which will be held offline and replays. The 4-man tournaments will continue to be like a live format. I think it's a bit more fun. There's a lot more downtime and stuff, but if you guys are watching this, you can always feel free to, if you're just finding this now, for example, you can just skip to the battles, because it will all get uploaded on YouTube, which is pretty cool. But yes, Bretonians versus Tomb Kings. I don't know who I normally bring in this matchup. I don't often play either of these factions. But I find Bretonians really struggle to deal with large entities. So a couple of Bone Giants might be nice. Kitty Cat as well with a Cetra on top could be pretty tasty. But at the same time, you do have to be careful of those nasty Bretonian lords. Anar, Alphanar, Teclis, not in the end times, and Krogar also. I kind of like Ungrim the Slay King. Ungrim's dope, man. Ungrim's super dope. Actually, that's a good shout. I didn't think of Ungrim. A king who is a slayer has 2 oaths in one go that kind of fight against each other, which is pretty funny. Yes, he's very good. Alphanar just so badass. For a high elf as well, like who would have thought it? High elf who's badass. Super dark, a little bit edgy, but not as kind of emo edgy as the dark elves. And a super cool dude. There's a really cool book by Gav Thorpe as well called The Shadow King, which I highly recommend. At one point he like pins up dark elves on a mountainside. I think they're still alive, but they're like dying. And a dark elf army has to like walk through this valley with all these dying, screaming dark elves all around them. He's like really brings those hardcore terror tactics. He's a cool ass dude. And of course Krogar, like, come on. Krogar could one-shot most characters in the game with that absolute cannon he has for an arm, the Hand of the Gods. But yes, I'm just waiting for Lord Zeus and we will get going. So this is going to be River and Maxon. After this, it's going to be Alpine Ridge, shortly followed by Central Chaos Wastes, if these guys do go all the way. Which I hope so. And let's get it cracking. So, River Maxon, one of my favourite competitive maps because it has a little kind of flanking hill on this right-hand side with some hills so you can get some high ground. You can try and take, I've seen people often deploy artillery up here and then try and force forward with some protection and fight on this main ground here. We have a nice open plain and we also have a decent amount of trees on either side to protect those large entities and, you know, expensive units from a lot of range damage which often can come in these battles. And look at the background as well. How epic and beautiful does this look? We have mountains in the distance, awesome lizardmen Aztec architecture as well, with some big temples with beams of pure awesomeness powering them as well. I would not want to walk across that bridge in the distance though, it looks a little bit ruckety. But yes, lots of trees in the sides and all around the periphery of the battlefield for sneaky stabbings. Nice high ground up here, and with a cool, like, what I even like about this map even more is you don't have to drag your cav all the way up and around just to hit someone on the side. You can come through, dart through the middle, and get intercepted here as well. We saw some really cool battles on King of the Hill, where people took this high ground, protected the middle bit, and had most of their army in the forest hidden, and was trying to out-skirmish their opponent, which was really cool. But yes, I've seen this map used quite heavily in tournaments recently, and I think there's a good reason for it. So, let's have a quick look. Let's start with the Tomb Kings. Let's go over here. So, for Scourge of the West and his mighty Tomb Kings, it looks like we're having a little bit of lag as they do both join in, but that should hopefully subside in a second. For the front line, he's gone for a mixture of the more elite Tomb Guard. Nope. His army is disappearing. Some of the more elite Tomb Guard mixed with some cheaper and more cheerful Skeleton Spearmen who are just going to be trying to hold the enemy back where they can. I like the pick of Tomb Guard though, and mixing them in, making that front line a little bit more punchy. We do have the Eyes of the Desert, regiment-renowned Stalkers here, and we're bringing that nice anti-large armor piercing. They actually have a little bit of range attack and also very decent in close combat. We have, in the background, we have a Bone Giant, being protected by the swaths of undead here, doing some decent long-range power. And my god, this is awesome! We have a, I can't even pronounce the name properly, Hero Titan? I haven't seen one of these used much at all. Just look how awesome this model is. Tomb Kings have some of the best single entities. And of course has Shem's Burning Gaze on it, and Spirit Leech, and just a big, horrible, fire magic causing damage monster here. We have a Necrotect who's going to be healing up those two big boys there. We also have Arkan the Black on a Mighty Steed. So no Statue of the Imperishable, bringing his Tomb Blade. Let's see what else we have. Staff from the Gash. We do have the Purple Sun for big blob fights, Spirit Leech, and Aspect of the Dreadlight to try and scare some of his opponents. Really fun build overall. We have a Casket of Souls as well. We drop in those fat DJ beats and in some nice long-range firepower. And I believe we had some carrion up in the sky somewhere. I swear I saw some carrion, but I may be blind. No, it looks like I may have just been blind. And let's go for the Bretonians. So in the back, we have the Green Knight. He's done it. Oh god, the Green Knight does not want to get near that Hero Typhant. It will tear him apart. But we do have a Green Knight in action, which is pretty damn cool. Now for the front line of Bretonians, we do have the disgusting and filthy peasant mobs of Bretonia can be taking some of that early damage. Main line, we have fairly cheap and cheerful men-at-arms and spearmen-at-arms, just all the way along, just trying to go nice and wide. in the back, we do have a Cav contingent, as you expect from the brave Knights of Bretonnia. The Companions, the Quested Knights Regiment of Renown. We have the Defenders of Fleur de Lis as well, Knights Errant Regiment of Renown, and 2 units of Knights Errant as well. And we've seen how effective Zeus can be with that cycle charging with Cav. We also have the mighty Gotrek in the back here. We've seen he's a big fan of him as well. Going to be getting in there and tearing down those big constructs. So he needs to protect the Green Knight, but get the good old Dowie Slayer in there to deal with those big units. We also have a Grail Reliquary just to hold the front line. And I believe, is that it? Where do we have his lordship? His royal lordship, we have King Leon Kerr in his most fancy attire up on top of his hippogriff here. So let's see what he's brought. Sword of Corone, which is very, very, very good. One of the best items in the game for its value. Minus 24 melee defense and minus 30 armor. The Lion's Shield as well for a bit of that range protection. And who do we have for a caster? I swear, surely he would have brought a caster. Have I just missed him? I may just be being blind. I'm sure we'll pick him up as the battle does unfold. I can't see one. Maybe he's gone without. I always bring a caster. I think it's fantastic value, especially if you're Dowie. Those good old Dowie casters in. But runesmiths and stuff are also very competent. Cool. Might be lurking here somewhere. I'm probably just being very blind and not being able to spot whoever the caster is. I suppose no, he's got his character. He's got Gotrek and the Green Knight. Okay, very interesting pick there. Seems a bit laggy, unfortunately. Ready. That will hopefully subside. Let's have a little look at the line of King Leon Kerr. Ooh, it's a little bit laggy. For the most part, it seems to be fairly decent. So I have one quick little look at chat and a sip of water before we start. Hero of the people. Damn right he is a hero of the people, bringing the Green Knight like that. Which is very cool. And let's get this cracking. Early predictions, it's tough. Like, the Green Knight can be really neutered by some of the heavy magical power here of the Tomb Kings. But at the same time, they have Gotrek, and if he gets in there, he will destroy those large constructs. So it's going to be tough. Green Knight is in a very cheeky vanguard there. I forget he can do that. That's pretty damn cool. Popping in from the side. He, in lore, I believe he does kind of, in the same way as the White Dwarf, appear when Bretonnium need him most, come in and get them those nice victories. I believe it was revealed who he was in the end times, but I'm not sure how canon that is, you know, for this kind of timeline. Bretonnians are going to be marching forward, trying to close the distance on their more long-range opponents. The Bone Giant is probably going to be lining up some shots very shortly. Casket of Skulls is ready to fire. So let's have a little look where it does go. A couple of bolts do head up. Looks like these poor... Oh no! Ooh! Huge damage to the men-at-arms there. Breaking their morale down to below half as well very quickly. Bone Giant cobbing in some shots, aiming at that Grail Reliquary, which isn't a bad shout if he can hit him. Ah! What's this? This is the sneakiest one I've seen. There is 2 units of carrion hidden behind some Lizardmen buildings there. Really nice play. Going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. So Leon Kerr is just roaming around, having a little look, trying to snipe out Arkan pretty early on, but he's going to be taking that anti-large hits from these very nasty Eyes of the Desert. So bit of a risky play here, and he's instantly going to back out without taking too much damage himself. Green Knight is lurking ready. The Bretonnians rushing forward as quick as possible, going to be chucking peasants in the way of their more expensive troops. Casket of Skulls and some really nice damage across the board, which is going to help the Spearmen win in the front line. King Leon Kerr hopping on that Bone Giant, Sword of Crone going down, trying to take him offline and at least force him back while he can and stop him getting those early shots in. Green Knight feigns some attacks. Let's see where he does go in. Here the Casket of Skulls firing some more shots. Bam! Taking those Spearmen down to below half health. And the Green Knight does appear and pop on top of the Eyes of the Desert, who do magic damage at range, so they were just annihilating him. I don't believe their combat is magic though, so they need to fall back and carry on with those shots. That was going really well. Another Spirit Leech coming in as well. Shots just continuing to rake along this Bretonnian front line, trying to break them down. They do have quite a big Cav Corps coming in, which is going to collapse in on the back of this Tomb King's army. Needs to get these Karens back over here into action. They could really help pin in some of these lords and characters. Green Knight really starting to struggle, but Eyes of Desert, fall back, you can shoot in and do so much damage. There's some knights waiting in the wings to get involved, and he's trying to pick apart this Tomb King's army where he can, mulching through this front line with just swaths of peasants. Gotrek running in to help deal with this Hero Titan, who, if left unattended, will just obliterate this Bretonnian front line. He needs to be very careful here of Gotrek. However, Karen's now swooping in, and the swarm of Bretonnians is forcing their way round the side of this flank. Cav are getting ready for those rear charges, and this could turn very nasty. A huge vortex coming in, doing some damage to the companions and also to the Green Knight, but it looks like it's mainly missing for the most point. Those spells much more better against infantry. The Iser Desert have run over here to assist the Bone Giant, using their anti-large attacks on King Leon Kerr, so the Hero Titan has fallen back to protect the Casket of Skulls as well, but the Platoons are slowly grinding out this front line, carrying in the back, trying to hold down some Knights Errant, and eventually the Bretonnians will break through here and break on to the much more squishy underbelly of the Tomb King's forces. Knights Errant being used on the sides to collapse in on top of Skeleton Spearmen and break them nice and quickly and swoop in, try and get on top of this Necrotect here. So very nice play so far. Eyes of the Desert, a little bit of a misplay. I'm not sure if he realises they don't have magic attacks in combat, but the Hero Titan obliterating the Green Knight there, doing some huge damage. Oh no, I think I was looking at the Eyes of the Desert there. Their little health bar, but still doing some pretty decent damage on the Green Knight, and he is really going to start to struggle. But really nice sniping ability here. King Leon Kerr, Lord Zeus, is adamant to try and snipe out Ark and the Black, who's desperately trying to hide amongst some spearmen as we speak. Balance of power still fairly even, but actually going slightly in the favour of the Tomb Kings here. As you can see, a lot of their units are starting to break, and I think when that happens, it could be a bit of a struggle. Nice summon here, though, of Ushopti, coming in to assist and really drive off these Knights Errant, and maybe help finish off King Leon Kerr, or at least pin him in, do some decent damage, who's made a nice little partnership here with Gotrek, hunting down this Bone Giant, and I don't think that's long for this world. Hero Titan needs to focus down the Green Knight. Looks like he's trying his best to, and the Ushopti running in to do some mass damage to these Bretonnian infantry. Lord Bretonnian's inactive now. This front line, it needs to start pushing forward, but it looks like for the most part he's done a good job in finishing off that front line. It's become a bit of a death block. Now, if he can take out some of the big key Bretonnian hitters here, the swaths of peasants, they're nothing. He can deal with them with just like the Hero Titan alone, and maybe the Bone Giant, and maybe his Lord is still alive. So he really needs to focus down these big targets now. Looks like another summon coming in over here. There's some Skeleton Warriors popped up. They easily saturate in and deal decent damage to those peasant mobs. Ark and the Black hunting down the Grail Reliquary. Actually, no, it looks like he's just trying to escape, doing some damage to peasant mobs where he can. But it's going to form into a big blob fight here. I'm slightly worried for the Tomb Kings. Once their summons do start to dissipate and disappear, they're going to really struggle. Over on the side, we do have two Karen just harassing a lot of units of Bretonnians, keeping them away from this main fight and giving the rest of his troops the best chance possible. Hero Titan coming in, now trying to focus down at the Necrotect. Oh no, not Necrotect, down Gotrek, which is slightly risky. He will do huge damage to Gotrek, but take massive damage in return. Was a little bit scary for him. Looks like the Knights have all settled in and going to focus their eyes on this Bone Giant, rallying to the King, and they're going to be able to bring him down quite quickly. And I think when he falls, the balance of power will shift fairly heavily in favour of the Bretonnians there. But it looks like Gotrek is actually getting his arse kicked here, which is very surprising. Hero Titan taking a huge swaths of health off him. Nice cycle charging coming in from Arkan as well, flinging that poor little dwarf to the ground. But he's getting some decent hits in his own right, having done a lot of damage. We do have some very brave Knights Errant who have rallied to his cause, trying to get in there and help him out and keep him alive and keep him fighting as much as possible. As you can see, Tomb King forces are disappearing all across the field here. I think it's going to be quite tough for them to turn this around. Arkan and Black very beat up, and there's not much he can do to stop the King from just floating over and trying to snipe him out. Gotrek down to 313 health. If he can survive one more smack, looks like that flings him to the ground, and he actually manages to tank the damage. Is the King going to rally to him? No, the King chickens out, doesn't want to get involved. And can this Hero Titan carry this game on its back? I'm not sure. King coming in, slapping Arkan it with a flanked attack there, bring him very low, which does spell disaster. If he falls, this game is certainly all over. Balance of power now going heavily in favour of the Bretonnians with the fall of the Bone Giant. Arkan very beaten up here, Sword of Crone on him. Nice play though by Scourge West, trying to keep him active and alive where possible. And Hero Titan coming in with a Searing Gaze on King Leon Kerr, but a little bit too little too late, I'm afraid. He's swinging around, trying to take down key items where he can, but it's just a swarm of peasants now going to saturate in. Balance of power is going to force us into army losses very shortly, and it is going to be won over to the mighty Lord Zeus in this best of 3 final. Nice consistent cycle charging by King Leon Kerr. Looks like a summon of Skeleton Warriors, just as a bit of a middle finger to try and hold the line as long as possible. But it looks like Arkan does go down, and without his support, the High Titan just doesn't really stand much of a chance. And his leadership is breaking, and he's going to start to deconstruct himself there and crumble back into the dust from where he was born. Looks like there's a little wet noodle contest going over here in the distance, actually. Skeleton Spearman going up against Spearman at Arms. But there's just no way back at this point, I don't think. It's just too much. I'm not even sure why the bounce power is actually as high as it is. I mean, yes, the Hero Titan does, consist a lot of that bouncer power, and he's a very tanky foe, but look at just the sheer number of people coming in. So, great game played by both players there. Loving the Green Knight coming in, but he got absolutely obliterated, but at least he worked as a nice distraction. Overall, quite a big fan of both armies, actually. Scourge of the West, I think, against a different build, could have been very successful. He just didn't have enough to protect his Bone Giant from the very evil King Leon Kerr. Although the cost of skulls, still getting 87 kills, but if you manage to protect those a little bit longer, stopping that backline harass. But if there's one thing we've learned from watching Lord Zeus play, he is so good at map awareness, map control, constantly keeping that pressure up and targeting your key units where he can. And when he can, just harassing them. We saw him attack the Bone Giant. No, he's not about to kill it straight away, but forcing it back, stopping it from firing on his troops, and forcing Scourge of the West to really stress his micro. So we're going to be moving on to one of the most awesome maps, and one of the most OG maps in Total War history. It has been around since Rome Total War. It was very different back then, but it's a really cool map. Big shot blocking hill in the middle and some trees on the outside. So we'll let those guys do their picks and bans, and we can just chill out. Hero because of the Titan. I mean, the Titan is pretty damn cool, I must admit. What's up, Andy the Shark? Nice to see you, my dude. Haven't seen you around before. Hope you're enjoying the stream. This is a tournament we run we try and do it once a week, but sometimes it takes a little bit longer. It just depends if life gets in the way. Best of 3 format, 4 players. Nice, simple, very friendly, and welcome to pro players and new players alike. If you like my play videos, that's what I mainly focus for in my channel. My play videos, tournament streams, that type of good fun stuff. Then feel free to subscribe and stick around. But no pressure. Cool. Alpine and Rangers next map. And let's update the score. So it's 1-0 to the mighty Lord Zeus. Can anyone stop him? He's been on a rampage today, winning. Well, both of these players actually won 2-0, so it's going to take something new for Scourge West to get his way back into this game. Which should be pretty good fun. I feel like Lord Zeus is going to want to play Tomb Kings. I can feel it in my bones. So he picked some band last time, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure Scourge picked first. Yeah, so Zeus picks some bands. Okay, he picks Tomb Kings, which I kind of expected. He's been loving them recently. Picks Tomb Kings and bans Vampire Coast and Empire. I feel it'd be a 2-0. I'm like falling asleep. We demand blood and violence, and lots of it. Yeah, you're officially a fan. Yay! What's up, dude? Nice to meet you. If you want to take part, man, in any tournaments or King of the Hill, which is a really fun one we do, message me on Discord, dude, and I can get you added to my own Discord where I announce when I'm doing these tournaments and stuff like that. But thank you for becoming a fan, man. I appreciate it. Cool. So it looks like we have Tomb Kings versus Dark Elves. I believe someone earlier in the chat was saying they like Dark Elves in this matchup. So it'll be interesting to see. So I currently am viewing chat off my phone, but it's down to 2% battery, so I may cut out, in which case I will just have to pop onto chat in between games, so I won't be able to look during the games, unfortunately, which sucks. But yes. What do you guys normally bring in this type of matchup? Dark Riders or repeated crossbows can be quite good here to take down some of the big nasty targets. You don't need much in the front line to hammer through the Tomb Kings, and lots of magic can really deter the Tomb King front line. But as we've seen, Lord Zeus loves a good hero core, really powerful hero core combinations, getting in there, doing a huge amount of damage, and escaping quickly again. So will we see the 3 chariots, which we saw earlier of the Necrotect, Cetra the Imperishable, and a Tomb Prince all up on chariots? It proved very effective, but almost had its undoing to a very nasty final transmutation by Poison Daki. So it's going to be interesting. I'm sure Scourge of the West has taken note of that previous battle that he did witness, and has got a sneaky plan, which hopefully he does. And you might enter the King Circle? Blackheart Corsair. Yes, Luca in chat is currently the King of the Hill, actually. He won 5 games in a row. Beaten both of these players, I think, actually. Or maybe it was just Lord Zeus. I don't know if Scourge West could play. But beaten Lord Zeus as well to hold on to his crown. Winning 5 in a row, equaling the tally set by the previous king, which was Noob for Life. So the way we do that is just I live stream the King of the Hill. And anyone who is a subscriber can just hop in chat and hop on and play. And it's just a winner stays on, best of 1. Super fun. Lord Zeus is ready, so just wait on Scourge of the West and we'll get it cracking. Yes. Blackheart Corsairs, Bolt Throwers. Bolt Throwers could be pretty useful here. But, like, you gotta be careful. Like, we've seen previously, Lord Zeus is so good at backline harass that you really want to protect those guys. You can't just, like, leave one unit of spearmen and forget about them for the game like you can against some players. It's pretty tough. And it's very tough indeed. So yes, hopefully going to be playing in Turin's tournament tomorrow. Like I said previously, I'm working in the late evening, overnight, so I probably won't be able to stick around if I do get far, but I doubt anyway. It's all going to be for good fun. It'll be a good experience getting some tournament games in me, as working weekends does kind of unfortunately throw you out the loop a little bit. Last time I came up against Arkan, who was a really tough opponent. He was like in disguise. I think he's actually banned from their tournament. I'm not sure of the full backstory of why, but I ended up playing Arkan in 2 super close games. Lizardmen up against his vampire count, so I just got Crocodile overextended, and then Dowie versus Lizardmen, where it came down to my Gotrek versus his Gehenna win, and I just about lost. It really sucked. It was so close. But they were good games. Defending with Cav. Yeah, you need Cav to defend this back line here. It's going to be interesting. Plus, Bolt Throwers might struggle on this map a little bit because of the hill, but you don't have to commit to the hill. A lot of people instantly think, oh, I can't bring range units on this map because of this big shot blocker here. That is not true. You can sit quite comfortably back here, send a couple of units forward to skirmish to make sure you are following the attacking rule, and then just shoot some shots over when they eventually, because they can sit on top of their mighty hill if they want. You can just shoot them off it. So, many possibilities on this map. Heavy wooded terrain over here on the right-hand flank, lots of sneaky stabbings. Hill in the middle. Again, do you take the high ground? Do you become the Obi-Wan? Or do you sit back, let your opponent take the high ground and pick at them from afar and try and force them down? So quite interesting here. Tomb King's not the fastest faction, so they might struggle to get up there, but I'm sure they'd like the high ground to fire some shots down and under. Peace out, dude. Peace out, Monochrome. Thanks for tuning in. It's always good to see you, my dude. You can always tune back in and catch the end results of the finals tomorrow, because this will be up. Luca, hello, my friends. Probably not tonight, because I'm going to go eat some food, but I might be able to play some tomorrow before the tourney. And Cartoon Empire, hello, welcome. Haven't seen you around before. What is the Hero Doom squad? We will have a look now, because I'm certain he has brought it. It is so goddamn powerful, so I'll explain it for you here. So, this Hero Doom squad consists of Cetra the Imperishable, who is going to be bringing, the most important item here for him is the Blessed Blade of Betrayal, which gives him fire damage and, of course, lots of nasty debuffs to the opponent. He brings a Necrotech then as well, which also has Restore, which is nice, Elixir of Might, which is very nice, but Vambraces of the Sun, -9 melee attack plus 22% weakness to fire damage. So brilliant synergy there plus a Tomb Prince as well, just for that anti-infantry bonus to fight alongside. And he brings Guardian, where he has it naturally as an ability, plus 15% physical resist to heroes and lords. So these guys all get 15% physical resist. They have huge shock AP damage. It's so potent. It's very, very good. Now for the rest of the army, he does have 3 units of skeleton horsemen up front. We have nice, cheap and cheerful infantry, as you'd expect, as he's invested all his money elsewhere. Skeleton warriors and skeleton spearmen. We have a DJ casket souls on the floor. He can be dropping some magic bolts of lightning upon the enemy. We also have a bone giant. So very similar to the build he picked before. It's a little bit different. Looks like he's trying to get the high ground early. Those skeleton horsemen, he's played so good with those skirmish cav throughout. Now, for the Dark Elves and Scourge of the West, we have some Dread Spears mixed in the front line with Black Ark Corsairs. We also have the Sisters of Singing Doom, which rage around Witch Elves on the left flank, who can rampage opponents, which could be really good actually on those chariots, get them stuck in and stop them from escaping, which is kind of the best thing, force them to fight. We have 2 Scourge Runner chariots, slightly not controversial, but slightly considered OP in the community at the moment with their armor-piercing long-range bolts. They're incredibly fast as well. We have 2 units of Dark Rider repeater crossbows in the back for nice skirmish potential. And we also have Malekith up top on a dragon. What spells and nastiness has he brought? He has Gaze of Malice, Soul Stealer, which could be very, very key here, Word of Pain, Power of Darkness, and of course his dragon has its Noxious Breath attacks. Looks like he's equally been a little bit sneaky with some Vanguard. We have Celestious Harvesters over in the trees here, which are regiment around Doomfire Warlocks. Very, very tasty. And the Crows of Cain, regiment around Harpies. Cool to see these guys. I believe they do have Regenerate. Oh, they replenish hit points when in combat. And they cause fear. And he has another unit of Harpies on the other side, looking for that harass. Those Harpies could be a real good answer to these Skeleton Horsemen to protect his own back line. His front line... the front line's going to be a bit of a wet noodle contest. Black Ark Corsairs should eventually be able to cut their way through the Skeleton Warriors. Be interesting to see how this plays out. And we are underway. So instantly the Dark Elves, I'm assuming, are going to start rushing up this hill. A couple of early shots being flung into some Skeleton Horsemen. Getting a couple of kills. So first blood is to Scourge Runner here. Or Scourge Runner? What am I talking about? Scourge of the West. I was thinking of Storm Runner, who's someone else who plays quite a lot on the channel. So Harpies in the distance haven't started moving yet, but he has managed to force back these Skeleton Horsemen, who just got a little peek in, and he's got a better understanding of what this Dark Elf army is all about. He's going to be taking a defensive position, and this is what I mean. He doesn't need to go on top of the hill. He can simply shoot back with an artillery piece like this, force the enemy closer, and that's got some range on it, doing some huge, well, pretty decent damage in one volley at least to the Sisters of Singing Doom over on the flank. So he's going to be scooting forwards with his Skeleton Horsemen, just trying to scare off these chariots and other skirmish units, much like the Dark Riders, repeated crossbows and so forth. Keep them away from his nice targets. And it looks like he is aware of these Harpies coming in, trying to do some decent damage to Sisters Singing Doom, who are trying to get into the woods. That Bone Giant focusing down Malekith. Some really good early pressure here coming from the Dark Elves. Harpies are starting to swoop in as well. Really good shots, though, hitting on Malekith by that Bone Giant. It's been very, very accurate. Looks like the Skeleton Horsemen are thinking about doing some frontward charges, getting some early shock damage. Yeah, it looks like they are going in to these Black Ark Corsairs, going to get some huge damage before fleeing again. Sending Black Ark Corsairs flying before turning around and running away. Really nice cycle charges coming in. Big, fat Soul Stealer is going to be coming down here. Yeah, there we go. Fat Soul Stealer coming down, and a Gaze of Malice going to do some damage to these Spearmen. Decent damage overall. The Soul Stealer is going to be healing up the mighty Malekith. Fortunately, those Sisters of Singing Doom are being annihilated, but then get in the trees, they can come in late game, try and rampage some stuff and do some decent work. Fortunately, Soul Stealer much better against those units, and not really doing much damage at all to this hero core, which could be a big problem. He doesn't have the best tools to take those guys down. Skeleton Horsemen looks like they were doing some good cycle charging, but being a little bit caught up by Dread Spears. Nice recovery there by Scourge of the West, as he does start unloading some shots into this death blob here, while he moves his forces forward. Big breath attack coming down on some Skeleton Spearmen. Looks like they do manage to... no, they tried dodging, but got caught by the most part in it. Nice damage there, going to allow this front line to be crumped a little bit quicker. Looks like we do have Sisters Singing Doom rampaging at some Skeleton Spearmen in, and I was trying to get the Celestial Harvesters in there as well, but they've been scared off by this little death blob right here. We have Malekith hopping on top of the Casket Skulls. Really nice pick there with the Harpies, but he needs to be careful. He's going to get some rear attacks coming in by this horrendous blob right here, but it looks like the Harpies managed to block him up enough. Oh, Malekith Fly! Fly! He's getting caught. His tail's just getting caught, but it looks like those Harpies do manage to sacrifice themselves, and Malekith manages to escape. He needs to be brought over here now and help this backline, help the main fight, and then you just swarm that hero blob of the Tomb Kings at the death. Sisters Singing Doom, even in their very beat-up state, manages to go fairly good toe-to-toe with the Skeleton Spearmen, up to 11 kills. Over in the distance, Skeleton Horsemen have unfortunately been rampaged. They're going to be picked off now by the Slashers Harvesters. So nice pick there by Scourge of the West. His backline is slightly compromised. He's going to need those archers fire him. And that healthy core here scares off the Harpies, forces them off. They may even flee off the battlefield as they are quite close to the edge. Balance power fairly even, but starting to tick now ever so slightly in favour of the Tomb Kings. Malekith trying his best, trying to snipe out the Necrotech, which is a really good way to dismantle this force. You take out the Necrotech first, that makes these other two units much, much more vulnerable. Big gaze of Malice coming down here onto the Skeleton Warriors, getting some decent damage, hopefully helping the battered Dark Elves really, overcome the mass of undead and try to outnumber this elite core, but it's not looking like it's going too well. Unfortunately, Caster Souls back in action, Bone Giant back in action. If they're allowed to fire all game, they will do horrendous damage. We do have a Sorceress of Fire coming in here as well, so she could be pretty pivotal, but there's no perfect targets for her. Maybe, it's only Burning Head. Fortunately, the matchup he came up against was more of an elite army than kind of the massive front lines where you want to drop Burning Head all the way along it. So Breath Attack coming in here as well. We do have Slashers Harvesters trying to get in the back line and shut down that Bone Giant. Sisters Singing Doom hopefully going to be able to go over there and rampage that guy, stopping him from shooting and instead of engaging in whatever combat is nearby. Squad Giant Chariots having to throw themselves into combat to try and protect the Sorcerer of Fire. They're okay in combat if you Psychic Charge, not the best, but they're also getting some armor piercing shots shooting over here. It's just going to be so hard to take down these units. Tetra does pop Incantation of Protection there, and unfortunately for Slashers Harvesters, that is going to break them, and they're so close to the battlefield here, it's just so unlikely they're going to come back. With every Dark Elf loss, that balance of power is pushing further and further in the Tomb Kings' favour. When the head did come down, looks like it managed to scorch a few Skeleton Spearmen perhaps, but it's not going to be enough. These Scourge Giant Chariots need to get out of there fast, so does this Sorceress of Fire. Try and pick their battles a bit better. They don't want to come up against Spearmen and these Ushopti. They need to be doing some of that AP damage either on this Bone Giant, or maybe trying to take down the Necrotech and all of those guys. Now the Harpies did return, and they are swarming the Caster Souls, shutting him down for the meantime. Looks like we have a chap. No, they're just staying ready. Another Breath Attack coming in by Malekith on top of Cetra. He knows he needs something big here to turn this around. Trying to snipe out the enemy lord is a pretty decent idea. But it's just, does he have the tools to do such a thing? It's going to be tough. What's left from the battlefield? So there's Dark Riser in distance, but they're pretty much broken. Anything else is breaking or routing with some Skeleton Spearmen in the distance. Very beat up Malekith, and this is looking very, very bleak for the Dark Elves, unfortunately. Sorcerer of Fire looks like maybe scared off, currently flat on her face, being chased down by some very spooky spooks there. And the Harpies coming in to try and rescue Malekith in a desperate attempt. Looks like they're going to be trying to swarm. Malekith may be able to get back up into the air, but I think there's not much he can do. He's probably going to break. There we go. Army loss of settings, and Malekith is going to run away, live to fight another day, and come back to plot his revenge. But a very, very strong 2-0 by Lord Zeus in his first showing on the channel as well, coming in and claiming a title. Very, very impressive stuff. Hey, Poison Ducky, I see you're back in the chat. He does not serve. You are indeed right, my friend. And your conqueror, unfortunately, Lord of Zeus, does go through as champion. Malekith trying his best, 126, doing some huge damage. But once again, Zeus just proving how strong this build is. I'm really liking it, actually. It has been defeated before, he has said, but it's really, really quite good. So I highly recommend, guys, trying it out if you fancy doing it, and let me know how the results go, and if you guys can work this kind of death ball as good as he does. So let's congrats Lord Zeus. So GG to Lord Zeus. What a performance. Just a whole stream by him. 2-0, 2-0. Let's update the stats quickly. And move this up to a nice 2 here. Very dominant display. And he's a tricky customer. Guys, you've got to be wary of him in the future. I'll be doing... Yeah. Olympus will prevail! So I'll be doing a Champions Tournament soon with all the season champions against each other, which will be very cool, which will be Noob for Life, Lord Zeus, Flying Taco, and Chosen One. That's if Flying Taco and Chosen One want to come back, because obviously that was like 3 months ago, so we'll have to see. If not, we will have to get another 2 champions. Casket OP! Casket was really good, man. So I'm going to have to get you back into some tournaments soon as well. Always good to see you around. So yes, hope you guys did enjoy the stream. Please, if you did, please do give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out. I'm quite a small channel, so liking, subscribing, all that stuff is actually a massive boost to me, and I super appreciate it. If you want to support the channel in any other way, there is a Patreon account. I have a Patreon account, sorry. It's linked in the description below, but no pressure. My videos will always be free, you know. It's just fun to do, to be honest, and hopefully we're going to grow and keep, hopefully, growing the community as well. Bring in some new players and some more experienced ones. So I'm going to leave the chat open just for a little while you guys want to discuss anything. Leave it open for like 1 or 2 minutes, and then I will peace out. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It means an absolute ton. It's great to see so many new faces and old faces back as well. Infantry will get wrecked by 3 chariots. Not enough blob power from due my convenience. Man, those guys, it's just such a deadly combo. I will do. I will feast like a god. So yeah, very well played to all our people today. So massive shout out to Scourge of the West, Ninja, Zeus, and Poison Ducky. And before I go, just a heads up, Poison Ducky and Lord Zeus do both have YouTube channels, so please do go check them out. Zeus is Gun to Plays. I believe he's just getting up and running. He's going to have some videos on there soon, but you can always subscribe and look out for his quick battle replays. Obviously a very highly skilled player. And Poison Ducky has a variety of games on his channel, including the majority of them being Total War. So I'm sure you guys will enjoy that if you enjoyed my stuff. How can you join these tournaments? Do you have Discord, my friend? If so, drop me a message on there and I'll add you to my Discord. What I normally do is I announce a tournament on my Discord. I give it an hour, and then I announce it on all the other Discords as well. So anyone who's kind of been moving for a while gets a little bit of a head start on if they can play or not. So yeah, Palpatine, I believe you do have Discord because you're in the New Hammer Discord, right? Just message me on there. My name's Rubber Duck War, and I'll get you invited. And anyone who wants to take part, anyone who wants to show me replays, literally feel free to get involved and message me on Discord. It's just a Rubber Duck War, same as always. Which should be really cool. So, and yeah, Noob Hammer, for those who don't know, is a Discord which has a lot of experienced players in and welcomes a load of new players in. They help teach them. You can find games against similarly kind of leveled opponents, and it's a really good way of building up confidence, building up tactics, and getting into the competitive scene, which it does have quite a steep learning curve, I'm afraid. But, it's really well worth it. And even people I speak to who kind of get beaten all the time, I get beaten quite a lot on quick battles, it's still so much fun. Well, guys, until next time, peace, and stay awesome.